Story coming up.
I'm Debbie Monterrey.
By Tuesday, St. Charles City business owners should know what will happen with their tourism department. I'm Maria Aquino with details.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Cloudy, increasingly windy and warm today with some rain and even a thunderstorm from late morning on, high 67.
Hill from the wing, no. And the Billikens win it. They've never done it before at the Siegel Center. They made it their own tonight.
The Billikens get the victory, and Missouri also makes some history. I'm Tom Ackerman, sports in 15 minutes.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Protesters have taken to the streets of Minneapolis after an ICE agent shot a driver through the window of her SUV and killed her when she started to drive away after officers tried to open her car door. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem.
It's very clear that this individual was harassing and impeding law enforcement operations. Our officer followed his training, did exactly what he's been taught to do in that situation, and took actions to defend himself and defend his fellow law enforcement officers.
This witness believes otherwise.
She didn't try to hit you. You was just shooting inside of a car. Like you was following the car, shooting her inside of the car and stuff like that. So, no, she ain't try to hit you at all. You really just killed that lady for nothing.
Renee Good was a mother of 3. Sources tell CBS News she was a U.S. citizen. Goods is at least the 5th death since the immigration crackdown began. CBS's Tony DeCopel asked U.S. Border Czar Tom Homan.
Have you seen any examples of clear excessive force displayed by ICE agents and officers in the field?
No.
Hours after the U.S. seized 2 oil tankers linked to Venezuela, President Trump said U.S. oversight of the South American nation could go on for years.
In an interview with the New York Times last night, the president said Venezuela's interim government, made up of loyalists to Nicolas Maduro, is giving the U.S. everything it needs. He said he expects the U.S. will run the country for years while reviving its neglected oil sector. Trump would not say if he would send troops in if the Venezuelan government refused to give the U.S. access to its oil. He also wouldn't say why he has not installed the winner of last year's Venezuelan presidential election as the country's leader. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Health experts are reacting after the administration released new guidelines that turn the food pyramid upside down, putting steak, cheese, and full-fat milk near the top, whole grains at the bottom. Marion Nessel, former professor of nutrition and food studies at NYU.
Meat and dairy products are the major sources of saturated fat in American diets. The only way you can keep your saturated fat intake below 10% of calories is by eating most of your protein from plants.
A 240-year-old newspaper is writing its own obituary. Block Communications will stop the presses at the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette May 3rd. The publisher blames operating costs and a recent court ruling favoring the union. Business reporter Adam Babetsky.
You always want a lot of news for a city, especially one of this size. You got 1 million people in this metro area, and anytime a news outlet closes, it's a horrible thing because people need to know what's going on around them.
This is CBS.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored.
It is 6:03 right now. We've got cloudy skies. It's 48 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. In a KMOX News follow-up, it may not look like it from the front, but around the back, the demolition of the downtown Millennium Hotel is taking shape.
Into parts of the hotel from the now exposed backside of it as the side facing I-44 completely ripped open by demolition crews. And you can even see where some bathrooms were, where some hallways were, and even the backside of the tower. The first 3 floors all the way down to the back bottom floor are completely open air at this point right now because they have been entirely ripped off. Now, going further up than that, nothing has been done to the main tower so far. And in fact, the smaller second tower, not all too much has been done either. But the smaller structure on the back half is a complete pile of rubble right now. And for the main tower, a lot of the backside of it is exposed at this point. In downtown St. Louis, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Some St. Charles Main Street business owners, workers, and residents don't want to see the city's tourism department changed, as floated by Mayor Dan Borgmeyer.
Two business owners say tourism is not just promotion, it's planning, expertise, relationships, and continuity.
This is why the message from Main Street is clear and unified. The city of St. Charles needs a strong, independent tourism department, and it needs a dedicated director of tourism at the CVB. Tourism deserves professional leadership.
When marketing and event coordination are stable, I can plan for staffing and ordering and hours with confidence. When communication is unclear and accountability is fuzzy, small businesses absorb the cost immediately.
Mayor Dan Borgmeyer has not made any official decision. That will be taken up next Tuesday at the work session. Maria Kina, KMOX News.
It's now 6:05, and a Honduran national living in the United States illegally will be sentenced today for crashing into and killing a St. Louis City police officer. Ramon Chavez Rodriguez pled guilty in October to one count of DWI, resulting in the death of an officer. He faces up to 15 years in prison.
Chavez Rodriguez was driving on I-70 when he lost control of his vehicle, killing Officer David Lee, who was assisting with another crash. Chavez Rodriguez had a blood alcohol level of 0.01. Cocaine, methamphetamine, and ketamine were all found in his system. He also faces domestic violence charges in St. Charles County.
High Point Drive-In announced Tuesday that 3 of its 9 restaurants have closed. George Mahey, dining editor of St. Louis Magazine.
You know, hamburgers are solid, pizza solid, tacos solid, good, safe businesses, relatively speaking. So I was a little bit surprised to hear about that, but not in the current economic climate.
The closed locations are in Baldwin, Edwardsville, and O'Fallon, Illinois.
If the cost of dining out seems very high, Buddy Lal of the Missouri Restaurant Association says restaurant operators are facing high food prices along with increased labor and operating costs. For consumers with less discretionary income these days, dining out is no longer about just convenience.
So when you go out to eat in a restaurant, it's an experience, from the hostess greeting you when you come in all the way through your dinner. The server has to be great, the food has to be great, and there has to be a perceived value in it. Because going out to eat is, I wouldn't call it a luxury, but it is something that people enjoy to do. So we have to make it a good experience and try to keep it as reasonably priced as possible.
Lal doesn't have exact numbers on how many restaurants have shut down in the last few months, but notes January traditionally is a very slow month for dining out.
St. Louis is ranked 6th in the nation as a judicial hellhole, while Madison and St. Clair counties in Illinois are lumped in with Cook County to place 7th. President of the American Tort Reform Association, Tiger Joyce, tells KMOX what constitutes tort abuse.
You have lawyers who are using the system for their benefit and not for a broader benefit or to serve the interest of someone who has a legitimate claim.
New data provided by the association shows every St. Louis resident pays a yearly $1,600 tort tax, with thousands of jobs lost in the city each year due to lawsuit abuse, a 12% increase from 2024.
From the business desk sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com, the Missouri Lottery says someone who purchased a Mega Millions ticket for Tuesday night's drawing is the winner of a $3 million prize. That winning ticket was sold at the Walmart in High Ridge. The lottery says the built-in multiplier helped with that specific payout. The ticket holder has until July 5th to claim the money.
We'll check traffic and weather next. It's 6:08.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan, along with Dr. Colleen Bosler and Dr. Adam Voss at the Audiology Center. When was the last time you really enjoyed a conversation without straining to hear?
Charlie, so many people think hearing aids just make things louder.
But that's old technology. Today's hearing aids do so much more.
Exactly. With the dual chip technology, our hearing aids actually separate the speech from the background noise.
Which means at a noisy restaurant, you'll hear your friends and family, not the clinking dishes.
And the best part, your brain doesn't have to work overtime trying to fill in the blanks.
So that keeps your mind sharp, your conversations easy, and your relationships stronger.
Because hearing well isn't just about sound, it's about staying connected.
Thanks, Doctor. Call the Audiology Center today to schedule your annual hearing evaluation. Don't miss another moment. Call 636-441-7470 or visit the Audiology Center STL LensyOnAir.com.
You still thinking job change in the new year? Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy. IT? Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI. That's what I did. Really? How? Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up. Sweet. Are classes online or on campus? Both. Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
At LendSeek, we know running a business takes heart, hustle, and sometimes a little help. That's why we stand with you with our exclusive AI lending platform, connecting you to over 100 funders. If you've been in business for at least 2 years with a minimum annual revenue of $500,000, you can get up to $1 million in funding in as fast as 24 hours. No collateral, no prepayment penalties, no red tape. Apply today with no cost or obligation at lendseek.com. That's LENDSEEK.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It's 6:10. Let's check in with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the delays are getting longer, Debbie, on northbound 55. Again, I can't see the reason. I'm assuming it's road work. I mean, it is a construction zone up through that Highway Z area. And, we started out with just a brief slowdown at Z, and now it's sort of stop-and-go pockets from McNutt up to Z on northbound 55. So we're adding volume to the highways. But, again, I can't see if there's anything blocking. Traffic seems to be getting through just north of Z, but it's bunched up approaching. And like I said, the delays now extend down through to McNutt on northbound 55. That's the only interstate delay we have, though. 70 looks good out west coming in from Warrenton through Wright City. Northbound 55 in the city or north of Bayless looks great. North 270 is fine from 55. Headed up through 44, both directions on 270 through the 64 Ladue area fine. And downtown, we're still clear westbound across the Poplar and Musel Veterans Bridges. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg with the very latest on our weather. Some changes.
Cloudy today, increasingly windy and unseasonably mild with rain at times from late morning into the afternoon hours. It can also be an afternoon thunderstorm. Our high 67. Cloudy and windy tonight. Some rain and a thunderstorm early, tapering to a shower late. Any thunderstorm this afternoon or early tonight can produce damaging wind gusts, hail, and flooding downpours. Our low toward daybreak, 45. Plenty of clouds, breezy and cooler tomorrow, high 51. Saturday may start with a shower, otherwise mostly cloudy and breezy, the high 45. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Cloudy, 47 degrees downtown at the Arch.
It is now 6:12. History made in Chesterfield.
At 94 years old, Doris Fraser says she's waited long enough to see her family's legacy secured. Fraser is the matriarch of Westland Acres, a historically black enclave near Strecker Road that's been owned by the same families for nearly 150 years. Fraser tells Chesterfield City Council members she supports a new deal with Provision Land Management that would finally allow the families to sell and redevelop the land, a dream her late husband Clifford fought for until his death in 2010.
We recognize the mistakes of the past, but we can rebuild our community with brotherly love that will last.
Fraser got her wish. The council approved the plan 7-1, despite objections from some neighbors who worried the new homes would be too close to their property lines. The project now heads to Wildwood for approval of the portion that's within those borders. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson says he and his administration are working to help families and care providers affected by the Trump administration's decision to freeze more than $10 billion in federal funding intended to help children and working parents. WBBM political editor Jeff Buckles.
The White House says it's concerned about potential fraud in Illinois and other Democratic-led states that have now had that money cut off, but there's been no formal allegation of wrongdoing. Dr. Arturo Carrillo is Chicago's deputy mayor for Health and Human Services. He says he's staying in contact with providers.
We want to make sure that working with the state IDHS office, we can prevent any harm caused to communities by any acts by this administration.
And the mayor says the president's actions directed at Chicago and Illinois are not rooted in concern about public safety or fraud.
This is about punishing cities and working people who do not think like his donors.
He says the city will continue to stand up for working people. We're at City Hall. Jeff Buckles, News Radio 105.9, WBBM.
That food pyramid you learned about in school is getting a makeover.
The Trump administration announced new dietary guidelines that emphasize eating lots of protein and healthy fats and not highly processed foods and refined carbs. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
The new guidelines recognize that whole, nutrient-dense food is the most effective path to better health and lower healthcare costs.
He calls the new guidelines
the most significant reset of federal nutrition policy in history.
Stacey Lynn, CBS News, Washington.
It's now 6:14 on Total Information AM. Sports coming up in just a moment. It took them almost 2 months, but the person who won November's $1 billion Mega Millions jackpots finally cashed their check. We'll probably never know who it is. Georgia is one of the states that does not require winners to go public. So for all you know, it was your cousin who just accepted a $453 million cash option. Who knows? Whoever it is will have to tell the IRS about it. That's a tax bill of $167 million due in April.
Yeah, they used to require you. I think Missouri also passed a law recently that you don't have to go public because, of course, the lottery loves to advertise it. But if you won all that money, you wouldn't want your face all over there because every single person you've ever met and more are going to be asking you for a loan.
Yeah, that's true. It's 6:15. Let's talk some Billiken basketball. The Billikens, folks. I was trying to tell people on the Gas House Gang on Sports on a Sunday morning, whoever would listen, they're the best team in the state of Missouri. Here they come. They can shoot the three, but they can also do this.
Green, Bills by 6.
Dunk.
Goes inside. Jam time. Otieno on the cut.
That's about time. One big dunk deserves another. Beautiful bounce feed by Trey Green to lead the big fella to the basket.
Want some more of that? Here's Paul Otieno.
Green, bounce pass to Avila up top. They want to get Sharma hot. Instead, the drive and the kick. It's Dion. He will drive. Got in deep. Hands it to Otieno. Jam time.
That's a great look by Dion and Paul going with authority.
Billikens took the lead 59-50. The Billikens have some three-point shooters, Sharma and Dunlap and Green and Avila, of course, and many others. But here's one who rarely makes threes, but he hit a monster three. VCU's up 62-61. Places roaring, first lead of the game after making a driving layup. And the Billikens come back the other way.
Defensive transition was perfect. Quentin Jones for McCautry for three. Bang! He answers. He answers. Timeout on the floor, and the Billikens regain the lead.
And they run away from there, 64-62, the score at that point. They win it 71-62, their first win ever in the Siegel Center, where the broadcasters sit in the rafters. Bob Ramsey, Earl Austin Jr. with Josh Schertz.
That climb is nice.
It is.
That's why we just stay up here.
That's right.
In the crow's nest.
That's a smart idea. I don't think you guys should go back down. I am exhausted after that.
Well, I don't know, and I know you're aware of it, and I know you understand that it's a big deal, but most of it didn't happen on your watch. Never winning here, and it, as you and I talked about before the game, it doesn't really change the things you have to do in the season, but it's great to say that you got that monkey off the program's back.
Yeah, no, it's a great team win. It's such a hard place to play. I don't want to, it actually, I hated the fact that we had a 14-point lead and that we lost the lead. I loved it in hindsight because we won, that they took the lead on the layup. The roof came off the place, and it was like, all right.
It was madhouse.
Madhouse. I mean, the roof, that was so loud down the stretch of the game.
Yep.
And that play, Lewis bumps us off, stick. We miss a wide open layup, and then they
7,000 people on their feet the whole time. They stayed on their feet.
Stayed on their feet, and they make the layup, and it's like, all right. And that's gut check time. And Amari comes down, and it's funny, I had Paul going to sub him. I wasn't happy he missed the layup, and I thought he got bodied on the drive. I thought he's a little bit, I didn't love his body language. He was frustrated. He comes down, and the ball gets turned to him. Djokovic is all the way back. He bangs a three. I pulled Paul back. So I said, all right, let's see. And we closed the game 10-0 run.
They did, and they are now 14-1 on the season. Mizzou is 12-3. They won for the first time ever at Rupp Arena in Kentucky. Final score is 73-68. The Blues lost at Chicago 7-3. We'll hear more from Jim Montgomery in a half hour, but this is from Chairman Tom Stillman on the passing of Blues legend and Hockey Hall of Famer Glenn Hall, saying Mr. Hall holds a special place in Blues history, the first player selected by the club. He called him a true legend of our game and a foundational figure in St. Louis Blues history. Glenn Hall, the outstanding goaltender, has passed away at the age of 94. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals and Billikens, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
KMOX, celebrating 100 years. Presented by Purina, your pet, our passion. Now, a KMOX pioneer.
For more than 3 decades, Bob Hardy was one of the most trusted and respected news voices on KMOX. Joining the station in 1960, Hardy anchored major breaking news, produced award-winning documentaries, and brought listeners unprecedented global coverage.
President George Bush is on his way to St. Louis right now aboard Air Force One. He's accepted an invitation to spend a few minutes with us here this morning on KMOX. St. Louis.
I'm looking forward to getting back there. We're at about 35,000 feet heading your way.
Calm, steady, and unshakable during the biggest stories of our time. Bob Hardy helped define KMOX's reputation as the station St. Louis turned to when it mattered most. Bob Hardy, a KMOX pioneer.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano. Our St. Louis Baseball Cardinals reset last season. Now they're planning for the long term. Have you thought about a long-term plan for your family? A will, a trust, powers of attorney? Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano can guide you with a personalized estate plan. Sign up for our free webinar on our website, yourestateMatters.com. Learn more about estate planning, get some answers, list your questions, then schedule a consultation. You can plan for your family, your favorite charities, taxes, your long-term care, and even your pets now, before the courts do it for you later. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, yourestateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
6:21, time for traffic and weather here on Total Information AM. Roger Brand has the latest from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the only place we have issues, Debbie, is on northbound 55 in Jefferson County. I've been talking about that delay coming up from McNutt to Peevely. Someone ran into the back of the jam. Now there's a minor 3-car crash. It looks like it's over into the construction zone on the left side, so left shoulder. So the lanes are open, and it's a minor crash. But there's just a shorter backup now because I think they moved it over to the shoulder. I think it wasn't a lane because there's just a short jam now through McNutt, approaching McNutt rather, north 55, and then it opens up and the delays all the way up through Highway Z have dissipated. And north of there continues to roll. I mean, that volume hasn't shown up anyplace else through Butler Hill, north of Bayless. Everything continues to roll north 270 up through Gravois, both directions through Ladue and 64 look fine downtown. We're still good to go westbound across the bridges for Illinois drivers as well. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We will see warm temperatures today, but rain at times from late morning on, a thunderstorm this afternoon and early this evening, a shower late. A high today, 67, low by tomorrow morning, 45 degrees. And then tomorrow, cloudy, breezy, and cooler with a high of 51. It's cloudy and 47 downtown at the Arch.
A man who set a pro sports record that will likely stand forever has died at the age of 94.
Hockey Hall of Famer Glenn Hall started an astounding 502 straight games in goal over 8 seasons with the Chicago Blackhawks from the mid-1950s through 1963, in the days before goaltenders wore masks. In an NHL.com video after his playing career, Hall said goaltenders before him displayed toughness.
They had set the standards that goalkeepers are tough. You don't lay on the ice and whine. You get up and you keep playing.
Known as Mr. Goalie, Hall had a reputation for throwing up before games as he fought off jitters. Steve Kathan, CBS News.
Hall played for the Blues during the team's first 3 seasons, and they made the Stanley Cup Finals each of those years. He was the Blues' first pick in the 1967 expansion draft. St. Louis area native Mike McKenna, one of the few who realized the dream of playing goalie in the NHL, he hopped on X last night to express his thoughts on the passing of one of the game's greats.
Watching the Blues and Blackhawks and found out that Glenn Hall passed away today.
Not sure where to start with this. For somebody that I never saw play, he was a huge influence on myself and on every goaltender of today. Glenn was really the first one to usher in the butterfly. And the lineage of that went Glenn Hall to Esposito to Patrick Roy and then on down the list. But, he inspired us. He was tough as nails. I remember when I met him for the first time, it was down at Kiel Center, which is now Scott Trade Center, where the Blues play, and it was an autograph signing, and he was super gracious with everybody. But I remember seeing his face and just going, man, this guy has taken a beating. The number of stitches, the games played without a mask. He did end up wearing a pretzel mask towards the very end of his career with the St. Louis Blues. He was tough as nails. And then years later, when I was doing the 6 Degrees with Mike McKenna podcast, if anybody ever wants to give that a listen again, he gave me like 2 hours of his time when we just sat and talked. It wasn't in person. We did it over Skype. This was 2019 we recorded. And it just felt like we were two peas in a pod on the same wavelength. Glenn was talking about things that he did back in the day that still resonated completely with modern day goaltending. Things from the 50s, 60s, it was all relevant. And it was one of the greatest thrills I can honestly say in my life, speaking to Mr. Goalie one-on-one. He left an impression on me as a goaltender. He left an impression on me as a person. I know I'm not far from alone. Every goaltender has a debt of gratitude to Mr. Goalie. We will miss him. I'm sure the Red Barn and a case of beer's waiting. So thank you, Mr. Goalie.
That is St. Louis native Mike McKenna, who played in the NHL with the Lightning, Devils, Blue Jackets, Coyotes, Stars, Senators, Flyers. He's worked as a broadcaster on TNT and saying some very nice and memorable things about Hockey Hall of Famer Glenn Hall, who has passed away at the age of 94.
One battle after another dominated nominations to the Actor Awards. Those are the SAG Actor Awards. Paul Thomas Anderson's Ragtag Revolutionary Saga landing a record 7 nods in the annual Screen Actors Guild honors. In the 31 years of the Actor Awards, no movie has received more nominations.
Along with a nod for the Guild's top award, Best Ensemble, the cast of One Battle After Another was showered with nominations for Leonardo DiCaprio, Chase Infinity, Tiana Taylor, Sean Penn, Benicio del Toro, and its stunt performers. The 4 other nominees for Best Ensemble are Sinners, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, and Frankenstein.
Shaquille O'Neal has a new teammate, Hershey's Chocolate. CBS News correspondent Jesse Mitchell has more details on what the NBA legend hopes will be a slam dunk.
Shackalicious Slams feature sweet gummy balls in watermelon, orange, and strawberry flavors with a sour mango ring or hoop. The candy is available now on Hershey's website and at retailers nationwide.
Well, it is 6:27, and the time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing. We'll check traffic at the bottom of the hour, and this forecast as we watch the rain approach the area. We'll try to pinpoint when that's going to hit on KMOX.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
I'm Kiara Palazzolo,
VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Hey, City fans, the official 2026 St. Louis City SC Yeti refillable Rambler is here. Pre-order yours now at stlcitygo.com to get yours by the home opener on February 21st.
It is 6:30, and right now in downtown St. Louis, we've got cloudy skies, 48 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Roger Brand is in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, police are with a crash now, northbound 55 at McNutt. It's on the left shoulder, so it's not blocking anything. Flashing lights are there, but they're not drawing the attention of drivers because since they moved it to the shoulder, the delays are pretty much thinned out. I mean, you're just a little off the pace going past the crash, but nothing backing up there. We're adding more volume to the roadways, of course, so it's starting to slow down further north along the line from Bayless up through Weber, busy and a little slower there. North 270, a little slow at Gravois and at 64. Tesson Ferry starting to see a backup from midway up from Wells to Butler Hill. Could be signal problems there. Eastbound 30, Mauer to 270 is a little slow. Southbound 61, some volume. Wentzville Parkway down to 64, but you can take 64 or 70 eastbound, and they both look great across the Missouri River bridges, across the Mississippi River bridges downtown. Popular Mutual Veterans still good to go. Next update at 6:40 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The weather is going to be changing today. Enjoy the temperature at least, because we'll hit a high around 67 degrees. It'll be cloudy, increasingly windy, and then unseasonably warm with rain at times from late morning on. We could see a thunderstorm this afternoon, and then some rain and a thunderstorm tonight. So the thunderstorms this afternoon and evening could be pretty strong, with some damaging wind gusts, hail, and flooding downpours. And that means it'll take the warm temperatures with. By tomorrow, it'll just be cloudy and 51. We're almost there now. It's 48.
It's 6:32. No word on any suspects after a man was shot dead Wednesday afternoon in Glasgow Village. St. Louis County Police say it happened on Glengarry Road, southwest of Chain of Rocks Park. Anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers at 866-371-TIPS.
An illegal immigrant who killed a local police officer is due to be sentenced later today.
Ramon Chavez Rodriguez pled guilty in October to crashing into and killing a St. Louis City police officer in September of 2024. Chavez Rodriguez admitted he was drunk and had taken drugs when he lost control on I-70. It was then he crashed into Officer David Lee, who was assisting with another unrelated crash. His BAL after the crash was .01, with cocaine, methamphetamine, and ketamine found in his system. Chavez Rodriguez, who is from Honduras and without legal status in the United States, faces up to 15 years. He is also facing domestic violence charges in St. Charles County. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
People, not politicians, collected more than 305,000 signatures to force a statewide vote on Missouri Republicans' gerrymandered congressional map. Secretary of State Denny Hoskins wouldn't verify 1/3 of them. Hoskins says the rejected signatures were collected before he approved the form of the petition. The case is currently pending in Cole County Court over which signatures to count. 110,000 signatures spread among 6 of Missouri's 8 congressional districts are needed to put the redistricting plan on a statewide ballot. The new map was designed to eliminate one of 2 House seats held by Democrats.
The Missouri legislature's new session has begun.
The Missouri House and Senate are officially in business for 2026. Wednesday's session was low-key with plenty of applause and opening speech from Senate President Pro Tem Cindy O'Laughlin and some logistical work. Thursday is expected to be the same way. Next week is when the action will pick up. Elisa Nelson, Missouri Net.
Your Money Minute is next. The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
For 100 years, you've welcomed KMOX into your cars, your kitchens, and your daily routines.
You've trusted us through breaking news, championship celebrations, and the stories that shaped our city.
You've listened during moments of joy and leaned on us when times were uncertain.
From overnight shifts to early mornings, from one generation to the next, you've made KMOX a part of your life.
From everyone at KMOX, thank you, St. Louis, for 100 unforgettable years.
KMOX Radio, the voice of St. Louis.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $40 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $18 a month, a savings of nearly $300 a year.
Whether you need a $100,000 policy or a $10 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. In a hurry? Don't worry. With SelectQuote, you can get up to $2 million in instant, affordable same-day coverage with no medical exam.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-637-9116. That's 1-800-637-9116. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-637-9116. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
6:35 and time for your money report. It's sponsored by Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Shoppers are rushing to spend store credits and gift cards at Saks Fifth Avenue as a retailer is said to be heading toward a potential bankruptcy restructuring. When a company files for Chapter 11, it's not automatically required to honor gift cards. Saks says customers can shop, earn, and redeem benefits as usual. Turning to stocks, futures are looking at a lower open this morning. Investors are waiting on tomorrow's December jobs data to get a closer look at the health of the labor market. Yesterday, the Dow fell 466 points. And Ford plans to debut technology in 2 years that will allow drivers to take their eyes off the road, which could lead the automaker into the robotaxi business. Ford's Blue Cruise driver assist feature currently allows drivers to take their hands off the wheel, but requires them to keep their eyes on the road. The new version that allows drivers to look away will debut first on Ford's forthcoming $30,000 all-electric small pickup truck platform. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Let's go. The NFL playoffs are here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, makes every moment feel bigger. In the postseason, the game shifts fast, and with DraftKings live betting options, you can stay right in the moment. Plus, DraftKings has your back with early exit protection. If the player in your eligible NFL prop bet goes down at any point in the first half, you still get paid in cash. With DraftKings, you're covered through the entire half. Why bet player props anywhere else? New customers, here's your shot. Bet just $5, and if the bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use KMOX. That's code KMOX to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Additional terms at dkng.com/audio. Limited time offer.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
Hey, City fans, the official 2026 St. Louis City SC Yeti refillable Rambler is here. Don't miss your chance to get the only reusable drinkware with exclusive in and out privileges at Energizer Park. Pre-order yours now at stlcitygo.com to guarantee you get yours by the home opener on February 21st and join St. Louis City in their mission to reduce waste on match day and every day. Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Saturday afternoon, it's men's Billikens basketball action as they face LaSalle. Pregame 2:45, tip at 3 on your home for Billikens basketball. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 6:39, and AP correspondent Donna Warder reports on an eventual shrinking U.S. population.
The Congressional Budget Office says in 30 years, the U.S. population will grow by a smaller number than previously thought. The Budget Office projects that the U.S. will grow from 349 million people this year to 364 million people in 30 years. The addition of 15 million people is a 2.2% smaller gain than it had predicted in 2025. In September, the Budget Office issued revised demographics showing that President Donald Trump's plans for mass deportations and other strict immigration measures would result in roughly 320,000 people removed from the U.S. over the next 10 years. That means that Social Security and Medicare will be under increasing pressure, with even fewer than expected people in the labor force paying taxes. Donna Warder, Washington.
It is 6:40. It's time to get another check of traffic and weather. We have some very stormy weather heading this way, so that's going to change things up a little. In the meantime, we've got some nice warm temperatures for you today. Let's see what the roadways are doing, and keeping his eye on your ride in is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the crash is still out there, Debbie. Northbound 55 at McNutt. It's on the left shoulder. Just a hint of a slowdown past it. It's not that big of a deal. You do have slow traffic up in St. Louis County from Bayless up through River to Perry, a little busy around Loughborough on North 55 after that. Northbound Tesson Ferry, north of Wells to Butler Hill, that's a jam. North 270, the bulk of the volume, Doherty Ferry, all the way up to Ladue now is just kind of busy. Southbound 61, south of P down toward Wentzville Parkway, 64 through Prospect, some busier traffic running through there. Keeneland at Natural Bridge, a report of a possible building fire, so you may find restrictions there as well. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Let's check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg. When do you think the big change is going to take place in our weather situation?
In terms of the severity of the weather, probably sometime late afternoon or early tonight. That's not to say that we can't see a shower or thunderstorm before then. We probably will. In fact, I'm looking on radar right now, some rain showers approaching from the south and west, probably get here by about 8:30, 9 o'clock this morning. There are thunderstorms to the north and west of Springfield. Those aren't severe at this point in time. If we're going to see anything with that intensity, it's probably late this afternoon in the first half of tonight. Through it all, it's going to become increasingly windy and very mild today with a high of 67 again. On and off rain throughout the day, particularly later this morning and this afternoon with that threat of a thunderstorm and gusty winds and hail and downpours later this afternoon, early tonight. Later tonight, things start to settle down to a leftover shower. By morning, we drop to 45. Then tomorrow, most of it is dry, if not all of it. Lots of clouds, breezy, cooler, only around 50. A shower or two to start the day Saturday, otherwise cloudy, breezy, chilly, about 45. Coldest day is Sunday, despite sunshine, only 37. But then we rebound into the mid-50s with sunshine on Monday. 51 at St. Peter's, 48 in Florissant, cloudy, 51 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 6:43. An ICE officer shot and killed a Minneapolis woman Wednesday during the Trump administration's latest immigration crackdown. Federal officials claim it was an act of self-defense. The city's mayor describes it as reckless and unnecessary. Here is Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem.
ICE officers and agents approached the vehicle of the individual in question, who was blocking the officers in with her vehicle, and she had been stalking and impeding their work all throughout the day. ICE agents repeatedly ordered her to get out of the car and to stop obstructing law enforcement, but she refused to obey their commands. She then proceeded to weaponize her vehicle, and she attempted to run a law enforcement officer over.
There is video of the entire exchange. National law enforcement analysts who've watched the video, some disagree with Noem's assessment. The woman shot and killed it was a U.S. citizen and the mother of a 6-year-old. In social media accounts, 37-year-old Renee Good is described as a poet, writer, wife, and mom. Trump administration officials say Good was a domestic terrorist. She formerly lived in the Kansas City area. Her SUV displayed Missouri plates. Good's mother said her daughter was not involved in protests against the administration's immigration crackdown. She said her daughter was compassionate and took care of others all her life. In new CBS polling, the U.S. military action removing Nicolas Maduro from power divides Americans, and their views on it connect to what they think the U.S. goals are and what they believe comes next. Jennifer DePinto is CBS News Deputy Director of Elections and Surveys.
Looking ahead, most Americans, more than 6 in 10, do not support further military action if Venezuela does not cooperate with U.S. interests, nor would they back taking military action in other countries in that region if those countries are not seen as cooperating with the United States. But Republicans, particularly most of the MAGA base, would support further military action in either of those cases.
Pope Leo has summoned cardinals from around the world to the Vatican.
Pope Leo has called the world's cardinals to the Vatican to consult with them on the priorities of the Catholic Church over the next few years. "I'm here to listen," he said to them in the opening remarks to the 2-day meeting. The cardinals voted to discuss how to make the church more missionary and more responsive to the needs of the faithful. The assembly, called an extraordinary consistory, highlights Leo's desire to include the cardinals in the governance of the church. Anna Matranga, CBS News, Rome.
It is 6:45. This is Total Information AM. A number of us here on the morning show were out late last night because we were at the fabulous Fox Theater for opening night of The Outsiders, which won the 2024 or 2025 Tony Award for Best Musical, among other things. And what a fantastic show. I, of course, was a huge fan of the book and the movie years ago and was curious about how you would turn The Outsiders into a musical. It was fantastic. I can't say enough good things about it. So if you have a chance, go see it. I believe it runs through January 18th.
All right, before we get to the good stuff, let's get the bad out of the way. The Blues got absolutely shellacked last night in Chicago, 7-3. Coach Jim Montgomery answering questions about the team's presence in front of the net.
Net front presence has been a constant theme the last couple of weeks. How would you evaluate the protection there?
Not good enough tonight. Got away from us. We've been fairly consistent at it, and we've been helping our goaltenders, but tonight we didn't.
Yeah. And with Binnington, is there a concern that this is a part of a larger problem, at least those screen pucks going in?
No, not at all. No. He's been an excellent goaltender with screen pucks his entire career.
Yeah. On the positive side, Otto Stenberg, his first career goal in his 10th game here in the National Hockey League, the takeaway and then tucking it behind Spencer Knight's shoulder there on the near side. How does he encapsulate the style of play, and particularly on that play that you want to see?
Well, just where he was, he comes from a great defensive position, creates a turnover, and then he just makes a clever play.
Yeah. That's Jim Montgomery answering questions after a 7-3 loss to the Blackhawks. They miss another chance to win 3 straight games. The Blues mourning the loss of Glenn Hall, the Hockey Hall of Fame goaltender, has passed away at the age of 94. He was an original St. Louis Blue. The St. Louis Billikens do it at VCU. They pull off the victory. And here's how it sounded on KMOX.
One man to beat. He knows it. Crossover, got in deep, spins, fade away. Yes! Kellen Thames.
That's the mismatch right there. Although he's big, but Kellen can get into the lane with his quickness that time. Just shot over the top.
Kellen Thames with 18 points, and 10 rebounds. A tremendous game for him as the Billikens win at 71-62 at VCU. That's their first win ever at the Siegel Center. They're 14-1 on the season and undefeated in the A10. And Missouri is undefeated in the SEC after winning for the first time at Rupp Arena in Lexington, Kentucky, beating the Cats 73-68. We'll break down both games for you at 7:15. And in the college football playoff, they get going tonight. Ole Miss and Miami at the Fiesta Bowl, the semifinal. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Billikens and the Cardinals. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code RAIN to get up to a $5 per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code RAIN to get up to a $5 per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code RAIN.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, haven't practiced in a long time, but I did plaintiff's work and defense work, so I have a pretty good understanding of it. I have a pretty good idea of who's who in the firmament of plaintiffs, attorneys, and for my money, Mark Cantor is the guy. He's a great attorney. He is a great practitioner. He's put together a great team. He was born and raised here. He lives here. He works here. He wins here. Call 314-628-ALL-9s or CantorInjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based on advertising.
Winterfest is back for the 10th year in Keener Plaza, now through January 11th. Enjoy Winterfest traditions, including ice skating, s'mores, and igloos underneath 100,000 twinkling lights in the shadow of the Gateway Arch. Grab a bite or drink from downtown favorites and enjoy a family-friendly New Year's Eve fireworks spectacular. Winterfest, hosted by Gateway Arch Park Foundation, presented by Bank of America and Worldwide Technology. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
6:50 in time for traffic and weather here on Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterrey, along with Tom Ackerman and Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, that crash is still out there northbound 55 at McNutt. There's a flatbed tow truck on the scene now. They're on the left shoulder. They have been for a while, so there's just a hint of a slowdown going through there, north 55 right now. North of there, you've got the usual delays from Bayless all the way up through to about Virginia as you make your way into the city. Northbound Tesson Ferry is backed up north of Wells up to Butler Hill. Pretty solid jam there. Northbound 270, the bulk of the volume. Doherty Ferry to Manchester, north of Manchester up through Clayton Road. A couple of slow spots headed up into 64. South 270, south of Olive, down to Ladou's busy. Southbound 61, Wentworth Parkway onto 64 at the Boulevard again. A couple of slow spots, but after that, it's not bad. Eastbound 70 looks great. And downtown, westbound 64, just a little slow. Route 3 getting onto the Poplar Street Bridge so far. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company at St. Louis Traffic Center.
We're going to keep an eye on this rain moving into the St. Louis area, and we are expecting to get some late this morning, says AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg, and some rain this evening, possibility of a thunderstorm as well this afternoon. It all ties into this forecast. We're looking at increasingly windy, unseasonably warm temperatures, rain at times, high 67, low by tomorrow morning, though, we'll be down to 45 after the storms come through. Tomorrow, mainly cloudy, breezy, cooler with a high of 51. Just peeking ahead to the weekend, colder, a high of 45 Saturday and only 37 on Sunday. Looking at the radar, the rain has approached Warrenton along I-70 and just past Union into Pacific along 44. It's 46 degrees.
The news continues at 6:52. There is an endangered silver advisory posted in St. Louis County. Police say 77-year-old Edgar Lee Clower walked away from a health and rehab facility on Redmond Road early this morning. Clower is described as 5'5", 105 pounds, but bald black man with brown eyes. He was last seen wearing a gray hoodie and blue jeans. He has a goatee and mustache. Police say Clower suffers from severe mental challenges.
These are highly addictive, highly intoxicating products.
Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway posting a video on X about the dangers of Kratom and 7-OH. These are both products that are sold openly in convenience stores and gas stations. Hanaway says she has personally had prominent people reach out to her directly, saying their child was clean and sober for some time, but walked into a store, bought it, and are now back in rehab.
Despite law enforcement efforts, getting products like Kratom and 7-OH sold openly at convenience stores and gas stations regulated seems to have fallen on deaf ears in Jefferson City.
Missouri's legislature is just back in session, and Assistant Special Agent in charge with the DEA, Colin Dickey, tells KMOX he knows police and legislative groups have been pushing hard to get these products like Delta-9, Kratom, and 7-OH regulated.
And or banned. Hopefully it at least starts with regulation and we can go to a ban or more rules and regulations. But I also know that as part of the bill that was recently put into place from the government shutdown, there's current legislation at the federal level to repeal the Farm Act, which was kind of under the hemp guidelines. I believe that was signed in 2018 to get these products regulated and banned.
KMOX has been following this for months and will let you know if and when Missouri's legislature takes up the issue of at least regulating these products that continue to cause illness, addiction, and even deaths. Maria Aquino, KMOX News.
The Missouri Lottery says someone who purchased a Mega Millions ticket for Tuesday night's drawing is the winner of a $3 million prize. The winning ticket was sold at the Walmart store in High Ridge. The lottery says the built-in multiplier helped with that specific payout. The ticket holder has until July 5th to claim the $3 million.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement.
It's your birthday.
The birthday shout out is sponsored for you by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. Total AM at KMOX.com is where to send those birthday and anniversary announcements. Total AM at KMOX.com. Happy birthday wishes going out to Roselle Derfler from family and friends, Joanne Chieski, also Mary Kay Prott, Fran Norville, and Zip Rezeppa.
This is the best birthday ever.
If you have a home to sell, you need an agent who can sell your home quickly and for the most money. I mean, that's the goal, right? You don't want to be sitting there waiting. You don't want to have endless open houses with people tromping through your house. You just want it to be sold quickly so you can move on with your life, but you want to get the most money you can for it. You need Gloria Liu of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria Liu doesn't just sell a few homes a year. She and her team sell hundreds of homes. She's closing on homes, several a week, more than several a week. So if you want to know what her secret is, just give her a call at 314-325-6888 or online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. Gloria will guarantee in writing to sell your home at your agreed upon price, or she will buy it herself. That's why it's called Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And Gloria has the buyers. That's her secret. And she has buyers waiting to buy homes in your neighborhood. That's how she can guarantee she'll sell your home, because she knows that she will. If you have any specific questions or you think you have a unique circumstance, she's always happy to talk. She's got many different ways to sell your home. As always, seller and Gloria must agree on price and possession date. GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Hey, City fans, the official 2026 St. Louis City SC Yeti refillable Rambler is here. Pre-order yours now at STLCityGo.com to get yours by the home opener on February 21st.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDRURYLaw.com.
How many of you think taxes will go up in the future? And if they do, who will get hit the hardest? Maybe it's you, headed for retirement. You've been saving in that 401k or IRA for years, and that money has never been taxed. And Uncle Sam is looking at that account like it's a big, juicy steak. What can you do about it? Join the All Financial Group for their Taxes in Retirement Seminar, Thursday, January 22nd or Tuesday, the 27th. They believe a financial plan is not a retirement plan without a tax plan. Reserve your spot today by calling 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824. Or go to yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents nor representatives may offer tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with their qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
Let's check back in with Roger Brand at 658 Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, they're still working with a crash on the left shoulder. Flatbeds on the scene, northbound 55 at McNutt. So there's just a little slowdown there. Then there's just some heavy traffic from Bayless up through Loughborough, northbound 55. Again, none of that is a jam. Northbound Tesson Ferry, though, is jammed north of Wells up to Butler Hill. Northbound 270, north of Big Bend to Manchester, slow pretty much all the way through there. Then there's a couple of spots approaching Clayton Road and approaching 64 where it's a little busy. Eastbound 64 past Prospect, a little bit of volume there. Downtown, we still look okay. The little slowdown we had on the Poplar for now has dissipated. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Thursday, the 8th of January. I'm Debbie Monterrey, and these are the stories making news.
I'm Maria Keenan with what St. Charles business owners and residents are saying about changing the tourism department.
I'm Tom Ackerman. KMOX News is following the progress of the old Millennium Hotel's demolition. We'll have details after CBS News.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Cloudy and balmy today, increasingly windy. Look for rain at times from late morning on. Even an afternoon thunderstorm. Our high today, 67.
A great win for St. Louis University. The Billikens win at the Siegel Center at VCU for the first time in Mizzou. They say, watch this, we'll win at Kentucky for the first time. Rupp Arena. We'll have all of it in 15 minutes.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Outrage is spilling over into the streets of Minneapolis.
Rise up! Take a stand! Rise up!
Protesters are calling for action after a mother of 3 was shot and killed by an ICE agent. Video footage shows the officer firing through the window of Renee Good's SUV when she tried to drive away after 2 agents asked her to get out of her car. Trump administration officials claim the officer who pulled the trigger acted in self-defense. Mayor Jacob Fry.
Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is bull.
More from correspondent Nicole Skanga.
DHS Secretary Noem said that the agent involved in this incident had been involved in a separate vehicle ramming incident late last year. Now, she added he was struck by the car Wednesday, treated at an area hospital, and then released.
On CBS Mornings, Police Chief Brian O'Hara urged city residents to keep those protests peaceful.
We do not want to compound that by having a situation which can result in destruction or further harm to this community, which has been through so much over the last 5 years.
He's calling for a thorough investigation of yesterday's incident. A search continues in Salt Lake City after police say 2 people were shot to death, 6 critically injured in the parking lot of a Mormon church where a funeral was being held. This woman lives next door.
After the 4th or 5th gunshot, my husband pulled up our Ring camera on the front door, and 3 more went off. He opened the door, and we heard wailing and screaming and crying over here.
The police chief says he believes the shooting was targeted but not directed against the religion. President Trump wants to ban institutional investors from gobbling up single-family homes.
In a social media post, the president said people live in homes, not corporations. He said banning institutional investors from buying homes would help make houses more affordable for Americans. Many experts say those institutional purchases have reduced the housing supply, driving up prices. But the nonpartisan think tank, the American Enterprise Institute, says banning corporations from buying homes may hurt more than help, because they buy and renovate derelict homes, then put them back on the market. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
So what happens when you stop taking those popular weight loss drugs like Zepbound and Wegovy? CBS's Michael George has the answer.
A study published in the British Medical Journal found that people on average regain nearly a pound a month after stopping GLP-1 drugs. And within 2 years, their risk markers for diabetes and heart disease return to the same levels as before using the drugs.
Dow futures are down 196. NASDAQ futures off 75. This is CBS News.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-932-5858. That's 800-932-5858. 800-932-5858.
It is 7:04 and we've got cloudy skies. We've got storms on the way as well. It's 48 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. That forecast in 6 minutes. At this week's city council meeting, Mayor Dan Borgmeyer heard from citizens who are against changing or revamping the existing tourism department in St. Charles.
Back in August, Mayor Borgmeyer proposed cutting out the people who are overseeing tourism and restructuring the department. Tuesday night, both business owners and actors who take part in many of the holiday events along Main Street were concerned.
You are the voice of the people at this table. While the mayor may bring forward ideas, proposals, and a vision, City Council does not work for the mayor. You are being asked to vote on salaries for positions whose job descriptions have not yet been disclosed. The positions of executive and assistive directors of the Convention and Visitors Bureau have been struck through.
Borgmeyer's plan would merge the city's Convention and Visitors Bureau, special events, and communications. An actual proposal on this is expected at next Tuesday's work session. Maria Aquino, KMOX News.
Nearly 2 months in, KMOX News asked, how is the demolition of the old Millennium Hotel progressing?
Well, it doesn't appear much work has been done so far in the Millennium Hotel if you're just looking at the front side of it. But if you head around to the back alongside I-44, you can see the skeletal remains of the Millennium Hotel as they have gutted the exterior walls of the main tower itself, demoed some of the smaller buildings behind it. Now, the smaller curved structure still remains mostly intact at this point. They have not gotten to that at this point yet, but they are on the backside making some progress in demolishing the Millennium Hotel. In downtown St. Louis, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
There's an endangered silver advisory posted in St. Louis County. Police say 77-year-old Edgar Lee Clower walked away from a health and rehab facility on Redmond Road early this morning.
Clower, described as 5'5", 105 pounds, a bald black man with brown eyes, wearing a gray hoodie, blue jeans. He has a goatee and mustache. Police say he suffers from severe mental challenges.
When you go out in public, Dr. George Turabelidze says there's a very good chance someone around you has the flu. He's the state epidemiologist with the Department of Health.
Also remember that every time you have flu and you wipe your face, your nose, a virus ends up on your fingers and can stay there for hours.
He adds the virus can stick to countertops and doorknobs for a day or more.
From the business desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com, a big payday for the former CEO of Spire, who was terminated without cause last spring. Steve Lindsay got more than $5 million after working just a fraction of the year. Almost half that amount was his severance payout. According to the Post-Dispatch, Spire declined to give a reason for the termination, but at the time, Lindsay had taken a leave of absence for health-related reasons.
It was a big day for the college basketball teams in the area. SLU and Mizzou will tell you how they made history coming up at 7:15. Next, Roger Brand with traffic and our weather forecast. It's 7:07.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan, along with Dr. Colleen Bosler and Dr. Adam Voss at the Audiology Center.
When was the last time you really enjoyed a conversation without straining to hear?
Charlie, so many people think hearing aids just make things louder.
But that's old technology. Today's hearing aids do so much more.
Exactly. With the dual chip technology, our hearing aids actually separate the speech from the background noise.
Which means at a noisy restaurant, you'll hear your friends and family, not the clinking dishes.
And the best part, your brain doesn't have to work overtime trying to fill in the blanks.
So that keeps your mind sharp, your conversations easy, and your relationships stronger.
Because hearing well isn't just about sound, it's about staying connected.
Thanks, Doctor. Call the Audiology Center today to schedule your annual hearing evaluation. Don't miss another moment. Call 636-441-7470 or visit theaudiologycenterstl.com.
Okay, we've got the chips, the fancy cheese, the sparkling cider. Oh, and I need to fill up the tank on the way home.
Look at the cart. We haven't even hit midnight yet, and you're already blowing your save money resolution for next year.
I'm not blowing it. I'm being smart. I'm using Upside.
Upside? That cash back app?
Exactly. I just claimed an offer, and just like that, I'm getting cash back on all these groceries. And I'll do the same at the gas station. It's how I earned an extra $250 this year.
Wait, $250?
Yep, that's extra cash I can cash out to my bank or throw onto gift cards to my favorite spots.
Download the free Upside app and start earning cash back now. Use promo code POP10 for a $10 bonus on your first grocery purchase. That's promo code POP10. Make your resolution easy this year. Download the free Upside app today and use promo code POP10 for an extra $10 bonus on your first purchase.
Offers vary by user and location at participating merchants. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is going on 7:10, so let's take a look at the roadways and the weather, which is going to change a lot between today and tomorrow. We get the latest on the roadways from Roger Brandon, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, we still got that crash out there on the left shoulder, northbound 55 at McNutt, so there's still a little slow down there. It's a little slow past Highway Z after that. Bayless up to River to Bear or north of Bayless is a little off the pace as well, so just a few slow stretches running through there. Northbound Tesson Ferry north of Wells up to Butler Hill, still bumper to bumper. Northbound 270 north of Big Bend up through Manchester's busy, and then there was a minor crash reported near 64. It's just kind of slow approaching 64 there, but not jammed, so that's a good sign. Eastbound 64 itself, a little busy east of Prospect toward Lake St. Louis Boulevard. Southbound 94, south of 64 down to D, bumper-to-bumper traffic through there. High school kids on their way over to Francis Howell right now. And on downtown runs for Illinois drivers, we look great. Westbound across the Poplar Musial Veterans Bridges, still no delays. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, cloudy today, increasingly windy and unseasonably warm with rain at times from late morning on. There can also be a thunderstorm this afternoon, our high 67. The record is 71 from 2006. Cloudy and windy tonight, some rain and a thunderstorm early, then a lingering shower late. Any thunderstorm this afternoon and this evening can produce damaging wind gusts, hail, and flooding downpours, low by daybreak 45. Mainly cloudy, breezy, and cooler tomorrow, high 51. Saturday, a morning shower, otherwise mostly cloudy, breezy, and chilly to high 45. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
We're expecting to see some rain in downtown St. Louis at around 9:30. For some of you to the west and south of us, you're already getting it. We have a cloudy sky, 49 degrees downtown at the Arch.
One of the oldest African-American communities in St. Louis County is becoming a new subdivision.
Westland Acres, founded in the late 1800s by formerly enslaved man William West, has remained largely undeveloped while luxury subdivisions sprang up around it. For years, descendants of the original founders struggled to develop their own property because of zoning hurdles and infrastructure costs. Longtime resident Doris Frazier reminds city leaders that while other developers were welcomed with open arms, her community was often ignored.
Developers built all around us, knowing Western Acres was here. They moved with boldness and great disregard, and virtually forgetting about our community, which to me and many of our descendants is still so precious. and deer.
The council's approval came after the developer agreed to last-minute compromises, including increasing a landscape buffer to protect nearby homeowners who had concerns about water runoff and overcrowding. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
High Point announced its locations in Baldwin, Edwardsville, and O'Fallon, Illinois are closed. The dining editor of St. Louis Magazine is George Mahey. Asked the minority owner what's going on.
Nothing really surprised me that much. These were the underperforming units. There's still 6 left. It's not like the place has gone completely, gone.
He talked with the Chris and Amy show about a lot of the restaurant closures. You can hear that interview on our podcast page at KMOX.com.
Restaurants weathered COVID and the challenges brought by it. Now they're struggling with spiraling food prices as well as higher labor and operating costs. Buddy Lal with the Missouri Restaurant Association says there's only so much restaurants can hike prices because
the consumer is very cautious about how they spend their money now. And it's even expensive to go to the grocery store just to bring food home to cook. So if you have a family of 4, or even if you're just feeding yourself, it costs quite a bit more than it did a few years ago.
Lal doesn't have exact numbers on how many restaurants have closed in the last few months, but says January is a very slow month for dining out.
Missouri seniors could see more savings at tax time. Stacey Engel with the IRS tells Missouri Net starting this year, those 65 and older can claim an additional $6,500 deduction through 2028.
A lot of folks don't understand when they have other sources of income outside of Social Security, the more they make, their Social Security can become taxable. So basically what this does is it reduces the amount of Social Security that is taxable on those tax returns.
It's 7:14, a minute earlier. You guys giving me extra time because of what St. Louis University did last night. I'll take it. And the Billikens will take it as they took down VCU on the road. And this is how it sounded early in the game.
10 on the shot clock. Green needs a screen. Gets it from Otieno. Can he find a man? He can find a shot. Bang! From NBA range and beyond. The Trey. McCautry, man in his face. That's dangerous. And he missed the layup. Rebound Thames. Kick out. Jones. Q for 3. Bang! He got it. Oh, Kellen Thames making a difference.
Thames had 18 points and 10 rebounds. How about that Trey Green? Is he something? Listen to this.
Jones, high post to Robbie. Will the second half be obvious? He finds Green. Open look 3. Bang! The Trey.
That dribble handoff with Robbie and Trey really finds gold quite a bit.
But they also love to go inside to the big fella, Paul Otieno.
Green, Bills by 6. Dunk. Goes inside. Jam time. Otieno on the cut.
That's about time. One big dunk deserves another. Beautiful bounce feed by Trey Green to lead the big fella to the basket.
Billikens led by as many as 14 in the second half, but VCU is tough to put away, and they came climbing back. In fact, they took the lead with 2.5 minutes to go on a driving layup. They go up 62-61, Billiken basketball.
Defensive transition was perfect. Quentin Jones for McCautry for 3. Bang! He answers. Timeout on the floor, and the Billikens regain the lead.
SLU gets the lead, and they never look back. 71-62 is the final at the Siegel Center, where the Billikens had never won. They get it done in attempt number 11. Coach Josh Schertz with Bob Ramsey and Earl Austin Jr.
So, and I think moving forward, they have to recognize that. And like you're saying, that's the points in the paint, but we got marauders going to the point all the time.
Marauders.
We do.
Yeah.
And it's not like you can't just look at us as this 3-point. I don't know what and we're not.
Yeah, no,
the benefit.
Yeah,
we're not getting the benefit
Coach,
of that.
this is Earl Austin Jr., and we approve this message.
I will, so I don't get fined, agree with everything Earl says. And I'll say, the free throws in the 2 conference games, I think, are about, 50 to 20 something.
Yeah.
And our discrepancy. And we have in both games dominated points in the paint.
Yeah.
That is almost a statistical impossibility to dominate one and get dominated in the other. It almost, and like you said, Earl, there's this thing, they shoot too many threes. That's what and it was funny, like in the St. Joe's game, I said, I mentioned the discrepancy a couple times. They're like, well, you're making all these threes. I said, we're also dominating points in the paint because I know,
look at the numbers.
I mean, it's one thing that, yes, and I told him, I said, thankfully we are making threes. Otherwise we'd be in trouble here because of that. And I thought, anyway, the consistency has to be on both ends. I did think it was a very physical game. Both teams were playing as hard as they could. It wasn't a beautiful game. Both teams were struggling to score. It was so physical, so much grabbing and holding and collisions, and guys were just playing their butts off.
Billikens win the game 71-62 at VCU, and they are now 14-1 on the season. Missouri is 12-3, and they're also undefeated in conference play, 2-0 in the SEC for the first time. And for the first time, they won at Rupp Arena. They beat Kentucky last night, 73-68, going on an 8-0 run to close the game. In the Valley, Valparaiso beat Illinois State, handing the Redbirds their first conference loss, 77-71, and UIC beat Southern Illinois 70-57. Missouri State lost at Kennesaw State 90-80. College football playoff continues tonight. The semifinals, they're down to the Final Four, and in the Fiesta Bowl tonight, it'll be Miami and Ole Miss. Miami's a 3.5-point favorite. Tomorrow night, Indiana, a 3.5-point favorite to beat Oregon in the Peach Bowl. NHL, the Blues got ripped up by the Chicago Blackhawks 7-3 last night at the United Center. And the team, the organization, the game of hockey is mourning the passing of Hall of Famer Glenn Hall. The outstanding goaltender has passed away at the age of 94. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Billikens. 104.1 FM KMOX.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell and Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life. Your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Total Information AM. Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Hopefully, it's smooth sailing for you as you head out the door on your way to work or school or wherever you're going. But if there's something going on, Roger Brand would know about it. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the one thing that's going on that has been most of the morning so far, Debbie, is that minor crash north 55 at McNutt. Still out there on the left shoulder. It hasn't been blocking for a while. So there, again, just a hint of a slowdown there. It's a little slow at Highway Z, and then it's slow again from Bayless up to River to Pear. Northbound 270, Tesson Ferry through Gravois, Big Bend up through Manchester, Clayton Road up through 64, all slow along the run. Northbound Tesson Ferry midway up from Wells to Butler Hill. Maybe it's a little closer to Butler Hill now. Looks better, but there's more volume on eastbound 30. Not a solid jam, but east to west Watson to 270, a lot of congestion there. If you're on the run on eastbound 64, it looks good coming in from out west. Just a little slow westbound 64 coming through Hanley, so that's no big deal. Eastbound 70, good to go. Downtown, just a little busy westbound on the Poplar Street Bridge at this time. So again, not bad there. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg says we're going to see some rain at times from late morning on. We're expecting to see it around 9:30 here in downtown St. Louis, and there's already some rain coming in west and south of us. There could be a thunderstorm this afternoon, high 67. And with that storm activity and a shower late, we'll see the temperatures drop. The low by tomorrow morning will be 45. We'll get a high of 51 tomorrow, 45 Saturday, and only 37 on Sunday. Currently, it's 49 degrees and cloudy downtown at the Arch.
It is 7:22, and Kirkwood native Nikki Glazer is getting ready to host her second consecutive Golden Globes Awards show on Sunday night. Glazer appeared earlier this week on the Jimmy Kimmel Show.
You've been working on it. Are you ready, or are you still writing jokes?
We write up until the last second. I feel like, I'm always trying to beat every joke and just have it be as tight as possible. So I always leave it open to maybe someone's wearing something insane on the red carpet. You want to make it just as topical as possible. But I've been running it around town. Like in LA, I've just been going up at different comedy clubs and
not
testing
grocery stores. You're not at John's.
I should.
Yeah, and at the comedy clubs, and I always kind of wonder about this because it's something I'd never done when I've hosted. It's like it's a very different audience, right?
It is.
You're not making jokes about the people in the audience at the comedy club.
You can get pretty confident about material in those rooms because they are out for blood and they want you to go hard.
Right.
So I have that in my head always of like what they want. And I'm like, but you're not going to like it if that bombs and that person rolls their eyes and you see that shot. I know you want me to go that hard, but I can't. So I have some fun in testing it, but the big problem is like people haven't seen stuff.
Right, that is a problem. The references.
It is.
If they haven't seen the movies.
I found that this year I'm just intimidated because there's like a new caliber of star in the room that, I grew up kind of idolizing. It's like people that were on my wall as a kid, like, Leonardo DiCaprio and George Clooney, Hans Zimmer. I was a weird kid, but but it's,
You were a Zimmer head? I didn't know that.
Totally. Oh, yeah. I was Zimmer.
I did not know that. Yeah. So you got Leo there, and so you have to say something about him.
You have to. And it's like, it was nice that I got to watch the Critics' Choice Awards and see if he's in the mood to laugh about himself.
Oh,
and,
did you?
Yeah, and he did. And he seems like he has a good sense of humor about himself. And I come in peace. And, I'm glad that I really loved his performance in One Battle and can really lay that on thick before I, go in for the kill.
Do you think that helps though, really? Because it always seems like you're just setting somebody up to be punched in the stomach.
I think they fall for it. And you know what? I make sure it comes from a real place. I don't do it unless I actually feel it.
Okay.
So you'd know if I wouldn't say anything if I didn't actually feel that way.
I think he seems like he's got a pretty good sense of
I think
humor,
so too.
right?
During another segment, Nikki Glazer talked with Jimmy Kimmel about her family and their go-to grocery store in De Pere.
You're very close to your folks, I know that.
I am.
And you
I
brought
love
us a
them.
video. Your dad's a musician.
He is. He plays locally at different, he goes to nursing homes to perform for them. He plays at cafes and restaurants, and he also plays at grocery stores. And so people are like, is that a thing? And I go, no, it's not. And it shouldn't be.
I was wondering.
People walk in, they're so confused, but he has a whole band there, Glaze and the Moon Kings. And I go out, and so he's always supporting my gigs. So I go to his gigs every single time I can. And then he lets me come up and
You brought some
sing a Taylor
video.
Swift
What
song.
are we going to see here?
Yeah, this is my Taylor Swift cover band, Failure Swift. So just get ready.
With your dad?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Oh my God. You had to make your own sunshine. The sky was
It's really a grocery store.
Yeah, that's a grocery store. And I get so nervous because it's just not what I usually do. So
It's not what anyone does.
No, and people afterwards come up to me and go, "That was hilarious." And I go, I was trying so hard, but it's so funny. People are trying to get to the melons right behind us. My dad calls his band the Melon Blockers now because that's all they do. People are so confused by it.
Yeah, wow.
It's so fun though.
So you can see him at various schnooks in the St. Louis
exactly,
area.
You know it.
Yeah.
Schnooks on Manchester and 270, pretty much every Saturday night. Yeah.
Come see Dad and grab a melon.
Exactly.
They play at Schnucks. They play at Sawmill Barbecue in De Pere. They also play at the 61 Roadhouse. I see they've played there. I'm looking at Glaze and the Moon Kings. I'm going to go see them.
And Failure Swift. That's hilarious. I thought she did a good job with her Taylor Swift song.
Big music fan. I think I told you one time that I happened to be at the Fish concert, same show as her, and chatted with her at the show. She said it was her first Fish show. She's a huge Dave Matthews fan. In fact, she is hosted on the Dave Matthews channel on Sirius XM. And
really?
She's hysterical. Like, even doing that, she's funny. Like, she goes on these tangents and I'm dying laughing in the car. 7:27 time check, sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Because we have lawyers in all 50 states, I see lots of lawyers' ads. Most seem to be bragging on results, but are they true or misleading? For example, in some cases, a firm may try a case even though the at-fault party has no lawyer, then brag in the ad about their results. My son Matt got one for nearly $50 million, but we never collected one dime. Some lawyers may say they got a result even though they were sitting second chair at a firm like mine, and even though they had little to do with it. Happens all the time. All that glitters is not gold. At Morgan & Morgan, our results are real. Visit forthepeople.com and go to settlements and verdicts to see for yourself what your case may be worth before you hire a law firm. Do your homework. Fact check. It's easy and too important not to. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. Attention business owners with a net income over $500,000. You need to work with a tax strategist that understands your entrepreneurial mindset. Download the most recent white paper written by E3 Consultants Group titled The Power of a Professional Tax Strategy Team. Go to e3wealth.com/radio to obtain a copy. It's time to learn about wealth and tax strategies that protect your personal and business economy. E3 is ready to help you think differently about your finances. Educate, empower, enlighten. That's the E3 difference.
It is 7:30, and right now we've got cloudy skies. It's 49 degrees downtown. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they finally cleared that crash that was on the shoulder for a while. North 55 and McNutt, one lone police car there. I'm sure he'll leave momentarily. Just a little busy at Highway Z. After that, you've got slow traffic from Union Road up to River to Pear, a little busy passing Loughborough, northbound 270, approaching Tesson Ferry through Gravois, just sort of slow pockets now in stretches all the way up through 64. You get a break every once in a while. Southbound 61 onto 64 or 70 out west look great across the Missouri River bridges. Take your pick which route you want to run. Eastbound 64 east of the Missouri River still looks great all the way through the Interbelt, although westbound 64 is slow now from Hampton all the way out to Hanley downtown. Westbound 64 between 3rd Street and Route 3, just kind of slow heading across the Poplar. And a little bit of volume on Telegraph between Yeager and Ford. It doesn't look that bad. Actually, it was busier 10, 15 minutes ago. Still a little backup northbound Tesson Ferry approaching Butler Hill, and eastbound 30 east of West Watson up the hill to 270. That's backing up as well. Next update at 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The weather is going to be interesting today. So we're going to get to a high of 67 degrees. That's the good news. So unseasonably warm, but we're going to have some rain at times from late morning on, maybe an afternoon thunderstorm. And thunderstorms could go into this evening. The afternoon evening storms could be some strong ones, and that'll push the warm temperatures out. So by tomorrow, just cloudy and 51. Right now, it's 49 downtown.
No injuries reported from a pre-dawn business fire in Pine Lawn. It happened inside the office of an auto repair shop south of Natural Bridge. That cause is under investigation.
Also, a drunk driver who killed a local police officer is due to be sentenced later today.
Ramon Chavez Rodriguez pled guilty in October to crashing into and killing a St. Louis City police officer in September of 2024. Chavez Rodriguez admitted he was drunk and had taken drugs when he lost control on I-70. It was then he crashed into Officer David Lee, who was assisting with another unrelated crash. His BAL after the crash was .01, with cocaine, methamphetamine, and ketamine found in his system. Chavez Rodriguez, who is from Honduras and without legal status in the United States, faces up to 15 years. He is also facing domestic violence charges in St. Charles County. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Several business owners on St. Charles Main Street say their local tourism department isn't just a luxury, it is their lifeline. Yvonne Pollock, owner of the Fault Line restaurant, tells the city council that treating tourism as a side project ignores the reality of how the district survives. She says the festivals are the only reason many shops can afford to stay open year-round.
Tourism and signature events are not extra. They are part of the operating system that keeps downtown businesses staffed, stocked, and open, and they determine our make it or break it seasons.
Pollock argues that shifting tourism duties to a general communications department would dilute the expertise needed to keep St. Charles competitive against other regional destinations.
The former Bar K dog park in South St. Louis is reopening soon as Canine Garden. According to its Facebook page, Canine Garden is now hiring with plans to open January 16th.
The dog park on McRee will be very similar to Bar K, with memberships available for purchase. Bar K once had 3 locations with talk of going nationwide before suddenly shutting its doors last year, citing severe economic challenges.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We've got your Money Minute coming up next at 7:34.
Spreadsheets, clunky software, 100 different logins just to run your business?
There's a better way. Odoo. One simple, connected platform that handles sales, inventory, accounting, and more, so you can focus on growing, not juggling. Make the switch today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Okay, I don't want to be mean, but if you're a guy and you just have a grimy, multiple times refilled bottle of Dial that's got the crusty soap on the outside, that's a red flag.
What if you just have a bar of Dial soap with no soap dish?
I never like
the bar of soap. What if you have one bar of soap and you take it from the shower to the sink, back to the shower? How would you feel good about going to that guy's house?
Oh my gosh, I think I would just leave without saying anything.
Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores, weekdays at 9 on KMOX.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
You're still grooving, still connecting, still loving, still turning up, still thriving. You still got it, but your immune system, it weakens as you age. That's where vaccines come in. They help train and strengthen your immune response to fight off respiratory illnesses like flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, or COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Book in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
It's 7:36, and this business report is sponsored by Busey Bank. Let's get the latest from Bloomberg.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. President Trump is calling for a huge boost in defense spending to $1.5 trillion a year. At the same time, he's demanding that major defense contractors end stock buybacks and dividends and cap executive pay at $5 million a year until they spend more on weapons research and development. Shares of RTX, formerly known as Raytheon, along with other defense contractors, are higher in the early trade this morning. Overall, stock futures are heading for a lower open. The rally that kicked off the new year is giving way to jitters about the economy and geopolitics. Investors are bracing for tomorrow's December jobs report. And Samsung's quarterly profit more than tripled to a record high. Memory chip makers like Samsung are diverting production away from everyday tech to build more lucrative high-end chips for artificial intelligence data centers. That's created a severe shortage in standard memory for laptops and servers. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the Let's Revitalize Our Neighborhoods commitment. This is the Roll Up Our Sleeves and Pitch In commitment. This is Busey, where our commitment to strengthen our communities is a top priority. Through energetic, engaged volunteers, through monetary support, community leadership, and advocacy. Because Busey is more than a bank that does well, we're a bank that does good. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth, since 1868. Member FDIC.
Neil Forever performs Neil Diamond live in concert at the Factory in Chesterfield on Friday, January 9th.
It's fantastic.
Friday, January 9th, Neil Forever performing all the hits of Neil Diamond at the Factory.
He is a great performer.
He's amazing.
Sounds just like Neil.
Grab and roll, get on board. Tickets at Ticketmaster.com.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $40 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $18 a month, a savings of nearly $300 a year.
Whether you need a $100,000 policy or a $10 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. In a hurry? Don't worry. With SelectQuote, you can get up to $2 million in instant, affordable same-day coverage with no medical exam.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-637-9116. That's 1-800-637-9116. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-637-9116. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
Hey, City fans, the official 2026 St. Louis City SC Yeti refillable Rambler is here. Pre-order yours now at stlcitygo.com to get yours by the home opener on February 21st.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Saturday afternoon, it's men's Billikens basketball action as they face LaSalle. Pre-game 2:45, tip at 3 on your home for Billikens basketball. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is now 7:40 and time for us to get you updated on your ride in and the weather. We've got some storms heading our way. More on that in just a moment. But first, here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, 740 is usually about the peak rush hour run, so we're looking at slower going, but it's still not terrible. North 55 is a little slow at 67, a little slow at Highway Z. It's bogged down from Bayless up through about Holly Hills, northbound 270, approaching Tesson Ferry through Gravois, 44 all the way up to Ladou's busy, south 270. Just kind of bogged down through the Ladue Road area. Eastbound 70 and 64 both look great coming out of St. Charles County. 64, though, is a little slow east of 141 to about Mason, and a brief backup at the Interbelt. Westbound 64, Science Center, headed out through to almost Hanley's heavy. There's a little slow stuff. Clayton Warson out through Spady after that. If you're on northbound Telegraph or Tesson Ferry, rather, midway up from Wells to Butler Hill or is backed up. It's slow. Eastbound 30 approaching Mauer to 270, and westbound 64 downtown. Just a slowdown from 3rd Street headed onto the Poplar. Next update is 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg with the latest on that rain. When does that get to us here downtown?
Well, I could see probably by about 10:30, 11 o'clock, a couple of showers wandering through. The radar right now shows some thunderstorms actually ringing the north and west side of the Columbia area, moving northeastward. So there's a sign of the instability that's latent in the atmosphere, and they've been issuing a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings for the Oklahoma City, Oklahoma area. Again, that's a sign of the instability that's in the atmosphere and of things to come for us later today. It'll become increasingly windy and warm, our high 67. It'll be off and on rain, and during the midday and afternoon hours, yes, there can be a thunderstorm, any of which can produce gusty winds, hail, and flooding downpours. I think the worst of those probably hold off until late afternoon and early tonight. Later tonight, that'll taper to a couple of showers. By morning, we'll drop to 45. Dries out pretty quickly tomorrow, but we stay pretty cloudy, breezy, cooler, only 50, 51 for a high. Maybe a shower early Saturday with another front moving through. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, breezy, chilly, about 45. Sunshine returns for Sunday, but it's going to be cold and breezy. The high only 37. The cold retreats just like that at Monday. With sunshine, we're back to 55. 51 right now at St. Peter's, 49 at Florissant, cloudy, 51 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 7:43. AP correspondent Ben Thomas reports on reaction in Minnesota to the fatal shooting by ICE agents.
Shame! 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 Anger in Minneapolis after an ICE officer shot and killed a driver during the Trump administration's latest immigration crackdown. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem alleged the woman was trying to run over agents.
She had been stalking and impeding their work all throughout the day. ICE agents repeatedly ordered her to get out of the car and to stop obstructing law enforcement, but she refused to obey their commands.
To Minnesotans, I say this: I feel your anger. I'm angry.
But Governor Tim Walz says
they want a show. We can't give it to them. We cannot. If you protest and express your First Amendment rights, please do so peacefully, as you always do.
And he adds,
to Donald Trump and Kristi Noem, you've done enough. There's nothing more important than Minnesotan safety. I've issued a warning order to prepare the Minnesota National Guard. We have soldiers in training and prepared to be deployed if necessary.
I'm Ben Thomas.
President Trump tells the New York Times the U.S. could stay in control of Venezuela for years. On Wednesday, U.S. forces seized 2 more oil tankers under international sanctions for ties to Venezuela. CBS News senior national security correspondent Charlie D'Agata with more.
U.S. forces had tailed the Marinera, formerly named the Bella One, for weeks, allegedly part of the so-called shadow fleet that carries sanctioned Venezuelan oil around the globe. It had recently re-registered as a Russian vessel, and the Kremlin this week dispatched a submarine to escort it. But U.S. forces arrived first.
The latest CBS News poll shows most Americans say the Trump administration's real goal is to get access to Venezuela's oil and expand U.S. power in the region. The poll also shows Americans are divided on last weekend's capture of Nicolas Maduro, with slightly more than half disapproving. Two-time defending champion Amber Glenn set the record for a women's short program at the U.S. Figure Skating Championships yesterday. Glenn's performance at Enterprise Center gave her the lead over world champion Alyssa Liu heading into the free skate. Liu had broken the record mere minutes earlier. The Blues lost at Chicago last night. They fell 7-3, and they remember the man who set a pro sports record that will likely stand forever. Glenn Hall has died at the age of 94. He played for the Blues during the team's first 3 seasons. They made the Stanley Cup Finals each of those years. He was the Blues' first pick in the 1967 expansion draft. That's because he had already established an outstanding career.
Hockey Hall of Famer Glenn Hall started an astounding 502 straight games in goal over 8 seasons with the Chicago Blackhawks from the mid-1950s through 1963, in the days before goaltenders wore masks. In an NHL.com video after his playing career, Hall said goaltenders before him displayed toughness.
They had set the standards that goalkeepers are tough. You don't lay on the ice and whine. You get up and you keep playing.
Known as Mr. Goalie, Hall had a reputation for throwing up before games as he fought off jitters. Steve Kathan, CBS News.
I'm sure there were some jitters among the St. Louis Billikens playing their first true road test last night at VCU. And while they built a 14-point lead on their A-10 rivals in the second half, SLU watched that lead completely slip away. VCU took a 1-point lead on a driving layup with 2.5 minutes to go. That's when they put the ball in the hands of Amari McCautry.
Defensive transition was perfect. Quentin Jones for McCautry for three. Bang! He answers. Timeout on the floor, and the Billikens regain the lead.
64-62, and VCU never scored again.
Hill from the wing, no. And the Billikens win it. They've never done it before at the Siegel Center. They made it their own tonight. Unbelievable. 71-62.
Bob Ramsey, Earl Austin Jr. with the call with Coach Josh Schertz.
We have the confidence that we can do it. And just like if we hadn't done it, it wouldn't mean that we couldn't do it. It just means that we weren't ready to do it now. But
now
know
your guys have the proof.
Now we have proof. We have empirical data that, hey, when we can go into a hostile environment, play a really good team on the road in a difficult scenario and come out on top. And, now that we have that proof, now we can call on that. And we have built that muscle. So the next time we're in that situation, we'll be in a situation, money time on the road, player going crazy. Hey, been here, we've done that, and you have confidence.
We know what to do.
And yeah, we've done it. And again, it's a guarantee, but now you have the confidence. It gives you the confidence to go out and do it again.
Tuesday, just two things real quick on that. Yeah, after tonight, you're going to be in that situation every time you go on the road now.
Yes.
Because of what you did tonight.
Right.
But I think I was so proud of the defense for the 40 minutes, the intensity, the physicality. It makes me believe, and I say this jokingly, there must have been fights in practice last week going, because I must have had some Tom Izzo practices. I know how you felt, and to come out with this effort after New Hampshire and St. Joe, that practices must have been.
Yeah,
they really got after each other to come after this.
Yeah, and the reality was, and you guys know this, we've been way more than we've been New Hampshire and St. Joe's.
Yes.
I would say our defense for most of the year has been elite and ahead of our offense.
It's been good to see as the Billikens are now 14-1 on the year. Mizzou's 12-3. As we've talked about all morning, they went into Rupp Arena and won there for the first time. They did that last night, 73-68, and 2-0 in the SEC for the first time. College football playoff tonight. It's Ole Miss and Miami in the Fiesta Bowl, the semifinal. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Billikens. 104.1 FM KMOX.
Setting goals for retirement is one thing, but knowing how to achieve those goals is another.
What are your wishes, hopes, and dreams? What's retirement look like for you? Because everybody, that picture is different.
For tips on building a better nest egg, tune in to the All Financial Hour with host Steve All, Saturday mornings at 10 or Sunday evenings at 6, right here on KMOX. You can also visit yourmoneymattersstl.com for more details.
When you're learning something new, experience matters. At Lifestyles Unlimited, we've spent over 30 years teaching people how real estate investing works and how to build income with a clear, step-by-step strategy. Our program is designed to help you learn what to do, why it works, and how to take action at your own pace. Join today for just $297, a 60% savings off the regular price. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Hey, Cardinal Cowboy here. Who would have thought a car crash would have led to charities, TV shows, and cheering with the best fans in the world? I'm thankful for every day. And so are my friends at Renner Garage Door. They've been turning garage doors from zero to hero since 1966. With help from trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, honest family-style service you can count on. So giddy up and get your free repair or replacement quote today. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER.
Nominations for the 2026 Women of Achievement are now open. The St. Louis Area Award is the oldest ongoing program in the area whose sole mission is to honor and recognize the volunteer service and volunteer leadership of women. If you know an outstanding volunteer in the St. Louis metropolitan area, or if you are one, Women of Achievement wants to hear from you. Nominations, including self-nominations, may be submitted now through January 11th. Head to KMOX.com for more information.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX.
7:51, time to check in with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
LW northbound 55 is a little slow through Highway Z and Peavey, and you're still bogged down from Bayless up through Holly Hills. Northbound 270, both sides of Tesson Ferry, north of Gravois is slowed down. Then from 44 all the way up to Ladue, it's off the pace. South 270 is bogged down from 364 all the way to Ladue. Eastbound 64, Clarkson through to about Maryville Center is pretty heavy. Then it's just backed up at the Innerbelt to Big Bend. Westbound 64, Hampton out to Big Bend slow. The left lane's shut down temporarily. Westbound 64 just west of McKnight because of debris in the roadway there. And then it's heavy from Lindbergh out to about Ballas. And downtown, westbound 64, more volume, a slower pace from the 70 split across the Poplar. Northbound Route 3 delays Monsanto up to the bridge. Next update is 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And as for that weather, AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg says we're looking at rain, and you can see it coming in from the south and west of us. And he did mention that in Oklahoma, they've had some thunderstorm warnings, maybe just an indicator of what's to come for us. The thunderstorm this afternoon and early this evening, a shower late, high 67 today. By morning, we'll be down to 45 and then a high of just 51 tomorrow with just breezy and cool temperatures. At the moment, it's 50 with clouds downtown at the Arch.
A massive development project in West St. Louis County clears a major hurdle. The Chesterfield City Council voting 7-1 to approve rezoning for Westland Acres, paving the way for a new subdivision on the historic land. Doris Frazier, a 94-year-old resident who's lived there since 1950, says after decades of waiting, families are ready to move forward.
You know what? It's time to come together. It's time to take a stand. It's time to come together, and it's time to walk hand in hand.
The plan covers more than 50 acres in Chesterfield, but the project isn't a done deal yet because the property straddles the city line. The Wildwood City Council must still approve the other half of the development.
A state agency is offering $50 million to restore Illinois communities impacted by systemic racism and disinvestment.
The Illinois Criminal Justice Information Authority is allocating $35 million to support civil legal aid programs, economic development, and community re-entry from the criminal legal system. Another $15 million is being allocated to support youth development and violence prevention initiatives. Applications to apply for grants are available online at r3.illinois.gov. Brad Choate, KMOX News.
The second session of Missouri's 103rd General Assembly has begun.
Oh, say, can you see?
The gavel has sounded. The Missouri Legislature's 2026 session is underway in Jefferson City. It's largely a ceremonial day. The real work is expected to begin next week. Since Republicans control both chambers, priorities for this session include passing a state budget, income tax cuts, and possibly boosting childcare access. Democrats plan to fight income tax proposals, but back further access to childcare. Elisa Nelson, Missouri Net.
We're so gallantly streaming.
According to numbers provided by the American Tort Reform Association, St. Louis ranked 6th in the nation last year for the worst judicial hellholes. Association President Tiger Joyce explained to KMOX's Chris and Amy what types of lawsuits cause the damage to local taxpayers.
When you have lawyers from Kansas City who are simply sending demand letters to businesses in St. Louis about violations of the Americans with Disabilities Act, and on behalf of people who never even intend to use the facilities.
Joyce said the average St. Louis resident pays more than $1,600 per year in tort taxes, and thousands of jobs are lost annually in the city due to lawsuit abuse. He said Madison and St. Clair counties in Illinois are lumped in with Chicago's home base of Cook County, so they rank 7th worst in the nation as a judicial hellhole.
It is 7:55.
Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Hey, McKelvey Homes is happy to present the Reserve at Wildwood. The Reserve at Wildwood is at 109 and 100. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. First of all, who doesn't love some outdoor living, some walking trails, just a nice place to get some fresh air and go for a walk? McKelvey Homes has that. It also has close proximity to the top-rated Rockwood School District and all the great businesses that are there in Wildwood. It's 50 acres on the southwest corner of 109 and 100 in the heart of Wildwood. It's called the Reserve at Wildwood from McKelvey Homes, a stunning collection of homes and, of course, the high quality craftsmanship and style that McKelvey is known for. Not just a place to live, a place to thrive. You can always join the VIP interest list. Be among the first to secure your dream home at the Reserve at Wildwood. You just go to McKelveyhomes.com. McKelveyhomes.com. Move up to McKelvey.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Hey, City fans, the official 2026 St. Louis City SC Yeti refillable Rambler is here. Pre-order yours now at stlcitygo.com to get yours by the home opener on February 21st.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
7:58. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, northbound 55 drivers look great down south. There's still some slow traffic, though, Debbie. Actually, a backup from Bayless up to Weber, then just kind of slow from there to Loughborough. Northbound 270, slow both sides of Tesson Ferry, then north of Gravois, it's just off the pace all the way up to Ladue. South 270, though, is just a little busy passing 364. That's improved fairly quickly there. Eastbound 70, a little volume between our city and 270. Eastbound 64, Clarkson to 141 is slow, and then west of McKnight, in through to about Bellevue. Westbound 64, Clayton Skinker through the Bellevue Big Bend area is heavy. Southbound 170 bogs down from the Parkway to 64 downtown. Westbound 64 still slow from the 70 split across the Poplar. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Cloudy, 50 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman, and here's what Megan Lynch has coming up next hour on Total Information AM. Staff members in one local school district have a new way to call for help.
Restaurants are struggling. You'll hear why from the head of the Missouri Restaurant Association.
More than a year after Missouri voters approved a reproductive rights measure, courts are still hashing out how it will be applied to existing law.
Will 2026 be a good year for St. Louis tourism? We'll hear more from Explore St. Louis.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Cloudy, increasingly windy and warm today with some rain and even a thunderstorm from late morning on, high 67.
And we welcome those of you still coming into town for the U.S. Figure Skating Championships. Enjoy.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Protests have returned to the streets of Minneapolis a day after an ICE agent shot and killed a mother of three through her SUV window as she tried to drive away when officers told her to get out of the car. Governor Tim Walz.
Minnesota will not allow our community to be used as a prop in a national political fight. We will not take the bait.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem is defending the ICE agent.
It's very clear that this individual was harassing and impeding law enforcement operations. Our officer followed his training, did exactly what he's been taught to do in that situation, and took actions to defend himself.
This is Michael Wallace. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara told CBS Mornings his officers have been caught in the middle between federal immigration agents and protesters.
We recognize quite obviously that this has been building over the course of several weeks. This was entirely predictable.
O'Hara called for a thorough investigation of the shooting, but noted most police agencies train their officers not to stand in front of unarmed motorists.
Police in Salt Lake City are searching for suspects after two people were shot to death outside a Mormon church while a funeral service was taking place inside. Mayor Erin Mendenhall.
No matter where they go, we will find them. They will be brought to justice.
Police do not believe the shooter or shooters were targeting Mormons. 6 people were critically injured. President Trump tells the New York Times U.S. oversight of Venezuela could last for years. He says only time will tell. Americans seem to be split on the issue along party lines. CBS's Jennifer DePinto has results of our new poll.
A big majority of Democrats disapprove of the U.S. military action in Venezuela, as do most independents. Republicans approve, and even more MAGA Republicans support the action now. 97% of them do, than supported the idea of it back in November.
Record snowfall has collapsed roofs, closed schools, even sunk boats in Juneau, Alaska. Deputy City Manager Robert Barr.
We reached the point where our resources that we were applying to this winter storm event were getting to be exhausted.
49 inches of snow fell in Juneau last week. Google is adding new AI features to its Gmail service, like proofreading and recommended to-dos. CBS's Ian Scher.
Using AI to sort through most of the email that many of us don't read anyway, or even be able to identify important things that need to be done can be really useful. Of course, it has to actually work.
Dow futures are down 181. This is CBS News.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored.
At 8:03, we have cloudy skies, 50 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Thursday, December 8th, January 8th. I'm Megan Lynch. It may not look like it from the front, but around back, the demolition of the old Millennium Hotel downtown is taking shape.
You can actually peer into parts of the hotel from the now exposed backside of it as the side facing I-44 completely ripped open by demolition crews. And you can even see where some bathrooms were, where some hallways were, and even the backside of the tower, the first 3 floors all the way down to the back bottom floor are completely open air at this point right now because they have been entirely ripped off. Now, going further up than that, nothing has been done to the main tower so far. And in fact, the smaller second tower, not all too much has been done either. But the smaller structure on the back half is a complete pile of rubble right now. And for the main tower, a lot of the backside of it is exposed at this point. In downtown St. Louis, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
An endangered silver advisory in St. Louis County. Police say 77-year-old Edgar Lee Clower walked away from a health and rehab facility on Redmond Road early this morning. Clower's a 5'5", 105-pound, bald black man with brown eyes. He was wearing a gray hoodie and blue jeans. Clower has a goatee and mustache. Police say he suffers from several mental challenges. Main Street business owners, workers, and residents don't want to see their local tourism department changed, an idea floated by St. Charles Mayor Dan Borgmeyer.
2 business owners say tourism is not just promotion, it's planning, expertise, relationships, and continuity.
This is why the message from Main Street is clear and unified. The city of St. Charles needs a strong, independent tourism department, and it needs a dedicated director of tourism at the CVB. Tourism deserves professional leadership.
When marketing and event coordination are stable, I can plan for staffing and ordering and hours with confidence. When communication is unclear and accountability is fuzzy, small businesses absorb the cost immediately.
Mayor Dan Borgmeyer has not made any official decision. That will be taken up next Tuesday at the work session. Maria Kina, KMOX News.
People, not politicians, collected more than 305,000 signatures to force a statewide vote on Missouri Republicans' gerrymandered congressional map. Secretary of State Denny Hoskins wouldn't verify a third of them. Hoskins says the rejected signatures were collected before he approved the form of the petition. A case is currently pending in Cole County Court over which signatures to count. 110,000 signatures spread among 6 of Missouri's 8 congressional districts are needed to put the redistricting plan on a statewide ballot. The new map was designed to eliminate one of 2 House seats held by Democrats. Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway is talking to social media to warn of the dangers of 2 products sold in convenience stores and gas stations.
Particularly 7-OH. The evidence is very clear there. And I've had people reach out to me directly, some very prominent people who said their child was clean and sober for some time period. and then walked into a store and bought this product and now is back in rehab.
Hanaway also names Kratom as another unregulated product that's sold without any regulation. Missouri taxpayers will see several changes this season. Tips and overtime pay are no longer taxed. Seniors 65 and older can claim an extra deduction. Stacey Engel with the IRS tells MissouriNet there's also a new form included on the standard 1040.
One good thing is if folks electronic file, that software will automatically create that form for you and fill it out. Electronic filing is the fastest, safest, and most effective way to file your tax returns.
Engel says choosing electronic filing with direct deposit can speed up refunds, typically in 21 days or less. Kirkwood native Nikki Glazer preparing to host her second straight Golden Globes award ceremony. It's coming up Sunday night. On ABC's Jimmy Kimmel Live, the comedian told the host she understands the pressure she's up against.
You know, the stakes are high, but it's like, if I kill it again, like, I know the only thing this leads to is just hosting it again. And that's,
Right.
that's what's at stake. And I want to.
From the business desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com, the Missouri Lottery says someone who purchased a Mega Millions ticket for Tuesday night's drawing is the winner of a $3 million prize. The winning ticket was sold at the Walmart store in High Ridge. The lottery says the built-in multiplier helped with that specific payout. The ticket holder has until July 5th to claim the $3 million. Coming up on Total Information AM, an area school district installs a new security system. We'll tell you more, plus get a check of traffic and weather. It's 8:08.
Okay, we've got the chips, the fancy cheese, the sparkling cider. Oh, and I need to fill up the tank on the way home.
Look at the cart. We haven't even hit midnight yet, and you're already blowing your save money resolution for next year.
I'm not blowing it. I'm being smart. I'm using Upside.
Upside? That cash back app?
Exactly. I just claimed an offer, and just like that, I'm getting cash back on all these groceries. And I'll do the same at the gas station. It's how I earned an extra $250 this year.
Wait, $250?
Yep, that's extra cash I can cash out to my bank or throw onto gift cards to my favorite spots.
Download the free Upside app and start earning cash back now. Use promo code POP10 for a $10 bonus on your first grocery purchase. That's promo code POP10. Make your resolution easy this year. Download the free Upside app today and use promo code POP10 for an extra $10 bonus on your first purchase.
Offers vary by user and location at participating merchants. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
Hey City fans, the official 2026 St. Louis City SC Yeti refillable Rambler is here. Don't miss your chance to get the only reusable drinkware with exclusive in and out privileges at Energizer Park. Pre-order yours now at stlcitygo.com to guarantee you get yours by the home opener on February 21st and join St. Louis City in their mission to reduce waste on match day and every day.
Here in St. Louis, we take pride in supporting our health and our community. That's why more and more families are turning to Neovitin multivitamins, created by a local physician and made right here in the U.S. using the highest quality domestic and international ingredients. With formulas for men, women, and adults 50 plus, Neovitin helps keep St. Louis families energized, supported, and ready for life. Find Neovitin at your local Dierbergs, Schnucks, and online at neovitin.com. Neovitin. Trusted nutrition from St. Louis for St. Louis.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
Let's see how things are moving on the roads for you this morning. Roger Brand is in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center with an update.
No, just slow traffic right now, Megan. Northbound 55 drivers just looking at a little bit of a delay, a backup from Bayless, most of the way up to River to Pear. North 270, that's just a slowdown. Approaching Big Bend, goes all the way up to Ladue. South 270 is already cleared out. Eastbound 70 looks great out of St. Charles County, really all the way downtown. We have an incident. It looks like a crash northbound 170 north of Natural Bridge, a short jam at Natural Bridge there. If you're on eastbound 64, a little slow passing Clarkson. After that, there's just some heavy traffic from, let's call it west of McKnight all the way in through Big Bend. South 170, delays from south of the Parkway. North 170 is kind of busy in that area as well. Westbound 64, Clayton Skinker to Hanley's heavy, a little slowdown at Spady. And downtown westbound 64, west of 3rd Street to the Poplar is still kind of busy. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Cloudy today, increasingly windy and unseasonably mild with rain at times from late morning into the afternoon hours. It can also be an afternoon thunderstorm. Our high 67. Cloudy and windy tonight. Some rain and a thunderstorm early, tapering to a shower late. Any thunderstorm this afternoon and early tonight can produce damaging wind gusts, hail, and flooding downpours. Our low toward daybreak, 45. Plenty of clouds, breezy and cooler tomorrow, high 51. Saturday may start with a shower, otherwise mostly cloudy and breezy, the high 45. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We do have cloudy skies this morning, 51 degrees in Florissant, 50 in St. Peters, and 51 downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Staff in a St. Louis school district now wearing a new emergency alert system around their necks. KMOX News wanted to find out more about the special badges now being used in the Afton School District. I spoke with Superintendent Travis Brock and Executive Director of Operations for Afton Schools, Adam Jasinski.
The badge is from a company called Centegix, and it's a wearable panic alarm, basically. So it's the size of maybe a slightly large ID card, as you mentioned, the one around the neck above the waist, and it has a single button on it. And what this button allows any of our staff to do is if they press it 3 times, it sends an alert to kind of our safety teams in the building. So think of that, maybe they have a student with a medical concern, someone hurt on the playground, something like that, where they need support, but they don't have access to a phone or a walkie-talkie. They can hit that button and have that team respond to assist them. In addition, it also allows our staff, if they hit it a whole bunch of times quickly, it will trigger a lockdown in our building, and it will call 911 automatically as an active intruder. So, think of this use in the worst possible case scenario in a school, a way for our staff to all have access to very quickly lock the building down and call 911 at the same time.
I would assume then there's a location function that goes along with it.
Yeah, so if a staff member, when they hit it, it will report their name and their approximate location in the building, down to like the room level. So the badge will connect to, there's sensors all throughout the building that are flashing strobes. So when you have a lockdown, they'll flash red. So it'll connect to one of those strobes, kind of the closest one there to, and report their location in the building.
Are you able to see where staff is at all times with the badges?
No, it only reports their location when they trigger an alert. So it's not a real-time tracker. It's basically, you hit the button, then it connects to the sensor nearest to you and says this person hit it near this sensor. And it doesn't keep tracking. So if you hit that button and then you roam around the building, it doesn't track you. It just reports where you last hit that button for that alert.
What led to the decision to employ this in the district?
I think we're always looking at improving safety and security. So where we are today is very different than we were 10 years ago, but it's been a journey. As Adam mentioned, we already have other things in place. So we have protocols in place, such as a lockdown. That's not new. We've got walkie-talkies. We've got phones. We've got a number of things that year by year we've been improving. So we've done improvements to things like door handles. We've done improvements to the entrances of school buildings. So this was a natural evolution of just every year thinking about what's something else we could do to enhance safety and security. And so that's really how we look at things. And so this probably won't be the last thing that the district does as we, continue to look at ways to make our schools as safe as possible.
How does staff feel about it?
I think they know that it's been coming. So I think this wasn't a surprise. They've been knowing since the first day of school that at some point we're going to implement this. And I think it makes them feel empowered to know that when they see something, they have the power to kind of initiate those actions instead of, well, I have to call the principal because they're the only one that can do that, or have to wait on someone else to actually start the process of getting things going. And I think that has really resonated with them, is that we say that we're all part of the safety and security plan. I think this really signifies that everyone is part of that plan.
What kind of response have you had from parents in the district?
Yeah, we sent information out in a couple newsletters that it was coming, and overwhelmingly positive. A few comments on social media with the posts that we rolled out, thanking us for being proactive and trying to find, ways to make our schools, students, and staff much safer.
Just with anything, we don't want this to be a surprise. So we have put out information so that everyone knows it's coming. But in addition to the badges that Adam mentioned, there were some things within the school that were visible. So, for example, people could see that we're installing sensors. And so that people are like, what is that? That seems to be a new feature. And so that kind of also led to needing to communicate with parents about what are some of these things that kids are noticing? What do they do? Also, what do they not do? So that everyone feels safe and that they realize that, oh, okay, this is a feature that's going to ultimately lead to improving safety and security. It's not a feature that maybe parents should be apprehensive about or students should be apprehensive about.
It seems like, and I'm sure you have seen this ever since some of the first school shootings, for example, there's been an evolution in how we handle emergencies in schools, and especially in situations that might be a crisis situation. What benefit does this system have over maybe other traditional ways you would try to lock down a school?
Yeah, really, the biggest benefit is shaving down the time for response. So we know in emergencies that seconds save lives. So trying to shave down as much time as we can to get a response as quickly as we can, whether that's for the normal staff alert, so they don't have to go try to find a phone or find someone with a walkie, or call the office and wait for someone to pick up a phone. It allows them, an instant trigger to have people respond immediately. Same with, a school shooting. So you want to trigger a lockdown as quickly as possible. You don't want people to have to go try to find the emergency button to press somewhere, dial, an extension on a phone. This allows, a very quick, within seconds, to lock a building down and have 911 call without someone having to find a phone, pick it up and do it. It just takes away some of that time and, room for error when those emergencies are happening and people are panicked and stressed as one would be. It's a much quicker response.
It sounds like it would be more quiet too, which is one of the things that I've heard security experts say it can be a challenge sometime in these situations if you have people talking and on the phone and trying to call for help.
Yeah, it just takes away that confusion, right? If you have an active shooter in a school and you have 30 people calling 911, that's 30 conversations, 30 dispatchers taken up. With the way this integrates, it's just an alert that gets sent to them. So they'll still get all 30. If 30 people hit this, they get all that information. But it just shaves that time down even further. So you don't have that human element of, asking questions. Where's your location? What's going on? What are you seeing? What are you hearing? It's automatically sent. So it just shaves that time down.
We mentioned that, this can summon 911. So that's one of the features, is that if you have that active shooter, also keep in mind, we do have school resource officers in our schools. And so this also helps them know immediately where is something happening, and that they can get deployed to that area as quick as possible. And you're not just waiting on someone from the outside to come in.
That's Afton School Superintendent Travis Brock and Executive Director of Operations Adam Chasinski. Coming up on Total Information AM, more than a year after Missouri voters approved a reproductive rights measure, courts are hashing out how it will be applied to existing law. Plus, will 2026 be a good year for St. Louis tourism? We're going to learn more from Explore St. Louis before 9 o'clock. But just ahead, restaurants are struggling, and you're going to hear why from the head of the Missouri Restaurant Association. 8:20, time for a check of the roads with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we got a few crashes out there right now, Megan. This traffic reports the Service of Financial and Tax Strategies. I mentioned the one in the last report, northbound 170 north of Natural Bridge. Right lanes are blocked. Traffic's backed up approaching Natural Bridge on northbound 170. If you're on northbound 270, it's cleared out down south, but it's still slow from Big Bend all the way up through Clayton Road. A report of a minor crash around Clayton Road there, and it's still busy up past Ladue. If you're coming in on eastbound Highway 70, we got a crash east of Wright City with lane blockage. It's jammed at Wright City, closer to Wright City than it is for Estelle. Eastbound 64, west of McKnight to Big Bend, still heavy. Westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley, slow. South 170, busy at the Parkway. Westbound 64, west of 3rd Street across the Poplar is crowded. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's going to be cloudy today, and we'll see more wind as the day goes on. Unseasonably warm. We could have some rain. Plus, we could see a thunderstorm later this afternoon. Expect a high today around 67 degrees. For tonight, still cloudy and windy with rain and thunderstorms possible and a shower late. A low by morning of 45 degrees. Right now we have cloudy skies, 51 degrees downtown at the Arch.
Retirement shouldn't feel like balancing a checkbook while blindfolded. I'm Gary Goldberg, and my team helps you see the big picture so you can retire younger, richer, and with less anxiety. Because guessing is not a strategy. Tune in to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg Saturday mornings at 7 here on KMOX.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking Active Liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
We've had a number of restaurant closures in the area over the past month or two, including some big names and well-established eateries. Our Debbie Monterrey checked in with Buddy Law, the CEO of the Missouri Restaurant Association.
What would you say are some of the biggest challenges right now that are facing the restaurant industry?
Rising prices are one of our biggest challenges, whether it's the food that we purchase to prepare or raising wages. We're coming into January too, which is a really hard time for restaurants because people get their credit card bills. They just spend extra money at Christmas. It's a really tough. January is one of our slowest months of the year.
We have had a number of other challenges as well. I know COVID was really difficult for a lot of restaurant owners, and rising prices for everyday people as well who may be cutting back. Are you seeing a lot of people doing that?
Yes. A lot of the consumer is very cautious about how they spend their money now. And it's even expensive to go to the grocery store just to bring food home to cook. So if you have a family of 4, or even if you're just feeding yourself, it costs quite a bit more than it did a few years ago. And you mentioned COVID. COVID changed the restaurant industry forever. If you remember when COVID first started, we had to shut down, so that hurt. But then we had the PPP loans that kind of helped out. But as we opened back up, we consolidated a bit. A lot of restaurants changed the way they operate. They added a to-go aspect to their business that they really didn't have previously. And then the DoorDashes and the Uber Eats all kind of came along. And so that helped restaurants quite a bit. But that all comes with a cost. When you do the DoorDashes and the Uber Eats, that adds 30% to the ticket price. So consumers feel that. It's harder to stretch your food dollar like it used to be.
Do you have advice for people running restaurants who, as you mentioned, are facing higher costs themselves of the food they buy and their employees? They have to obviously raise prices, but then there is a point when people are going to the restaurant saying, I'm never going back there again. It was so expensive.
Well, you have to provide great service. We have to have good people, and we do. So when you go out to eat in a restaurant, it's an experience, from the hostess greeting you when you come in all the way through your dinner. The server has to be great. The food has to be great. And there has to be a perceived value in it. Because going out to eat is, I wouldn't call it a luxury, but it is something that people enjoy to do. So we have to make it a good experience and try to keep it as reasonably priced as possible. Restaurant owners realize that raising prices isn't the only answer. Smaller portions will start to come into effect, especially with some of the new medications that people are on. They have less of an appetite. So I think you'll see us continue to evolve to try to survive and make things happen.
We've had a number of reports in the last few weeks of restaurants, even long established ones that have been around for a long time, that are closing their doors. Do you have a count by any chance of how many restaurants, either in the St. Louis area or statewide, have shut down recently?
I don't know an exact number. Only thing that we really get is the restaurants that open, because we can see all the permits that are pulled. There's no good mechanism for closings other than catching it through the social medias or on the news, or just being in the communities to know. But I know there are more closing down, and you're in St. Louis, so the whole Del Mar district, that's really struggling after the tornado. Even if the restaurant was able to open back up, the surrounding community is struggling with their own housing and their own buildings. So it's just not coming back like we had hoped it would. So I'm really concerned about that whole area from Martin Luther King all the way over to Del Mar. I don't know how they're going to survive. It's going to take a lot of city support to revive that. And I think it's going to go down before it comes back up.
What are you seeing as far as 2026 for the industry?
Well, we're going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to open new restaurants. And I think operators just have to be very, very careful financially and fiscally to make it work. Hopefully inflation will stop or at least ease up quite a bit. I think we're almost past the tariff problems because that created some issues. So I think we'll start to see a stabilization. We're looking for beef prices to come down and all the commodities to start to level off. So as things start to level off, I think restaurant operators will be able to, if you had enough reserves, you'll be able to maintain and get back on track.
That is Buddy Lahl, CEO of the Missouri Restaurant Association, talking with our Debbie Monterrey. It's now 8:28, and this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Many of you know that my inspiration for becoming an accident attorney was my brother Tim, who was rendered a quadriplegic at age 18. I didn't know what a personal injury lawyer was or what they did, but I soon did. Tim was treated terribly by the insurance company, and I became enraged. It was a constant delay and deny. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Tim later worked with me for 27 years. Last year, my hero died at age 65. You can see my eulogy for him by visiting mybrothertim.com. He was one hell of a man. Because of Tim, together we built the largest injury firm in the world, and our clients are treated the way I would want my family to be treated. At Morgan & Morgan, nobody is a nobody and everybody is a somebody. If you need our help, visit forthepeople.com on your phone or computer. See you soon, Tim. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Another app for inventory, one for CRM. Oh, don't forget accounting. Wait, which login was that?
Or you could use Odoo, one fully integrated system that does it all without the hassle. Ditch the app overload. Get everything your business needs on one platform. Try Odoo free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Just ahead on Total Information AM, we're going to get the latest on response to the Minnesota ice killing. First, though, let's get the latest on the roads for you from Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We got delays due to crashes, Megan. Northbound 170, they're working that one north of Natural Bridge. It's backed up at the Rock Road. The right lanes are blocked there. Eastbound Highway 70 drivers, we have either a crash or a stall. It involves a semi, maybe a stall tractor trailer. Anyway, it's in the traffic lane. Eastbound 70, east of Wright City. Traffic's jammed back to the west side of Wright City right now because of that one. Eastbound 64, still slow through the Interbelt. Westbound 64, Hampton to Big Bend is busy. We have this other crash in a traffic lane, northbound 270, right near the Clayton Road overpass. Traffic's a solid jam between Big Bend and Doherty Ferry up to that one. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company St. Louis Traffic Center.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, we're expecting windy conditions today. It'll be cloudy. We'll have rain at times and possibly a thunderstorm this afternoon, a high 67. Right now, cloudy skies, 51 downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. A U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officer shot and killed a 37-year-old woman Wednesday morning during an operation in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It triggered a strong response from local officials. There have been protests on the street last night and again this morning. With the latest on reaction in Washington, D.C., I'm joined now by CBS News White House correspondent Natalie Brand. Natalie, what are Trump administration officials currently saying about this incident?
Well, we're getting, Megan, some new reaction from the president himself in a New York Times interview. He called it a terrible scene, but also argued that based on what he's seen and heard, the woman in the incident was at fault. But also went on to say, quote, "I want to see nobody get shot. I want to see nobody screaming and trying to run over policemen either." That's, again, a quote from the president per the New York Times. Now, this kind of echoes what he had said on social media, that alleging that the woman, quote, violently and willfully ran over the ICE officer. He says the ICE officer shot her in self-defense. But, you know, Minnesota senators are pushing back, saying that they're concerned that statements made by the administration do not appear to reflect video evidence and on-the-ground accounts that they've seen and heard. Senator Tina Smith also said that it's hard to see evidence in the video that the woman rammed ICE agents. Now, of course, there's a lot of different videos and social media, accounts of how this played out that are being analyzed right now. But the senators calling for transparency and a full investigation here by both federal and state law enforcement. They want to make sure state law enforcement is also, involved in the process of investigating this.
I know I just saw the CBS News in Chicago reported that an Illinois Congresswoman, Robin Kelly, is announcing plans to file articles of impeachment against Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. Any other comments from leaders in Washington, D.C. about what they want to see happen here?
Well, it's interesting. The border czar, Tom Homan, aside from Secretary Noem's comments, calling this domestic terrorism, he kind of gave a more measured response in an interview with CBS News, saying that he didn't want to prejudge the situation based on, one video on social media, that he wants the investigation to play out. So he did give kind of what seemed to be a more measured response here. In terms of elected leaders here in Washington, D.C., we are seeing kind of this sharp divide, again, between, Democrats and Republicans on what happened. A lot of Republicans defending the ICE officials and blaming or criticizing, Democrats for what they call hateful rhetoric towards federal law enforcement that they argue is endangering ICE agents, whereas, Democrats, particularly Minnesota senators, are calling for ICE to leave the state, saying that they're making things less safe.
Natalie, thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
No problem.
That is CBS News White House correspondent Natalie Brand joining us this morning. Your Money Report next.
Let's ring in the new year by finally checking off something that actually matters. Your old videotapes and photos are fading more every year. VCRs are disappearing, and the clock is ticking to save your family's most important memories. Hi, I'm Adam Baselogger.
And I'm Nick Mako. We started Legacy Box to help you preserve your memories by converting all your videotapes, photos, and film reels into digital files. And this year, it's easier than ever.
Introducing our biggest kit yet, able to hold up to 80 videotapes or film reels or 2,000 photos. It's perfect for big collections. You can even send in old DVDs, memory cards, flip phones, or early generation iPhones.
Legacy Box is truly the easiest New Year's resolution you'll ever keep. Just fill your box and send it in. As the world's largest digitizer of home movies and photos, all work is done in the U.S., and we're trusted by over 1 million families.
Start the new year right by rescuing the moments you haven't watched in years. Go to legacybox.com/radio for an incredible 55% off. That's legacybox.com/radio for 55% off.
Your Money Report now, sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Courtney Donahoe.
Shoppers are rushing to spend store credits and gift cards at Saks Fifth Avenue as a retailer is said to be heading toward a potential bankruptcy restructuring. When a company files for Chapter 11, it's not automatically required to honor gift cards. Saks says customers can shop, earn, and redeem benefits as usual. Turning to trading, President Trump's plan to request an increase in the military budget is giving a fresh boost to defense stocks. However, futures are heading for a lower open, pulled down by tech shares. And Ford is planning a new driver assist feature that will allow folks to take their eyes off the road. Ford's Blue Cruise system currently allows drivers to take their hands off the wheel, but requires them to focus on the road. The new version that allows drivers to look away will debut first on Ford's forthcoming $30,000 all-electric small pickup truck platform. Expect to see this feature in 2028. Ford is still determining how to price it. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic. Could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did. They gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-491-9914. 800-491-9914. That's 800-491-9914.
Protect your engine with Quaker State and save big money at Menards. Quaker State Full Synthetic Motor Oil is engineered to give your engine more power, more wear protection, longer engine life, and more performance with improved resistance to engine stress at high engine speeds or under heavy loads. Check out all of our Quaker State products in store and check out our weekly flyer on menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
This is Corey from Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. There's never a good time for your heating system to stop working. If yours does, no matter what time or day, Air Comfort Service offers 24/7 emergency HVAC service. Contact our award-winning team for 5-star heating service and stay in your comfort zone. For heating and 24/7 emergency service, contact Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation at aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
Hey, City fans, the official 2026 St. Louis City SC Yeti refillable Rambler is here. Pre-order yours now at stlcitygo.com to get yours by the home opener on February 21st.
This is 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. Minneapolis on edge following the fatal shooting of a woman by an Immigration and Customs Enforcement officer. The governor calling for people to remain calm. The city's school district canceling all classes and activities as a safety precaution today and tomorrow. Google says it's adding more AI functions to Gmail, including tools to improve writing, summarize far-flung information buried in inboxes, and deliver daily to-do lists. Plus, two-time defending champion Amber Glenn set the record Wednesday for a women's short program at the U.S. Figure Skating Championships in St. Louis. Let's check the roads now with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still got our trouble spots out there. Unfortunately, Megan, we still have this incident eastbound 70 east of Wright City blocking a traffic lane. Traffic's backed up pretty close to the Wright City rest area now. They're still working this injury crash northbound 170 north of Natural Bridge. Right lane's blocked there. Traffic's jammed. Back pretty close to the Rock Road. Northbound 270, that crash to the Clayton Road overpass. Looks like it's in the left center lane. Traffic's backed up just north of Doherty Ferry. Northbound 55, they were clearing a minor incident at the 270 ramp, and North 55 is slow at Butler Hill. Eastbound 64 is still slow, 170 to Big Bend. Westbound 64, Clayton Skinker to Hanley. That's still crowded. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And checking that forecast for today, it's going to be cloudy. We'll have some wind and rain, possibly even a thunderstorm this afternoon. Expect a high of 67. Right now, cloudy skies, 51 degrees in downtown St. Louis. You're listening to Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Abortion will be a key issue in Missouri in 2026. Groups on both sides will be watching a court case expected to go to trial next week that could determine what happens with abortion access in the state in light of a constitutional amendment on reproductive health passed by voters in 2024. And now voters will also be considering a new ballot issue that seeks to ban most abortions. With me now, Margot Riphagen, President and CEO of Planned Parenthood Great Rivers in studio. Thank you so much for coming in this morning.
Good morning.
Tell us a little bit about the coverage area for Planned Parenthood Great Rivers, first off.
Yeah, so we serve the St. Louis region and the Missouri Ozarks. So that means, of course, here in St. Louis, also on the east side of the river in Illinois, down to Springfield.
A lot has happened, especially in the courts since passage of the Right to Reproductive Freedom Act, which enshrined a constitutional right to abortion in Missouri. What's the actual status of abortion services in the state?
Yeah, so great question. We are providing procedural abortion here in the state of Missouri. So, as you know, we have this trial coming up on Monday about the Right to Reproductive Freedom Initiative. But in the meantime, we have been providing care here in Missouri. So that's here in the Central West End. And then also on the other side of the state. But you can get an abortion here in the Central West End.
Now, when you say procedurals, that's different than a medication abortion? Okay. And that's part of the case that's going to be heard next week.
Yes, absolutely. So, medication abortion largely preferred. It is you take a pill, you can do that in the privacy of your own home. You can finish the procedure there. So it's something folks prefer, right? And when we talk about the full spectrum of care, we're not only talking about procedural abortion, we're also talking about medication abortion, and we're basically talking about healthcare here. So that's what this trial is coming up next week.
So, even before the constitutional amendment passed, one of the statistics that I read was that there were actually very few abortions performed in Missouri. What are we talking about as far as numbers?
Yeah. So, it is one of the complicating things is folks do prefer medication abortion, right? So when we're looking at the number of folks who are getting procedures here in Missouri, we are meeting the demand in the St. Louis region, right? But folks are really looking for being able to get the full spectrum of care. So that means a lot of folks are still choosing to go over to Illinois, where they can get both procedural and medication abortion. So, while we are meeting the need, making sure that folks can get the care, we have regularly available appointments here in St. Louis. We want to expand access and make sure that folks can get the actual care that they need where they live.
Let's talk about that ballot issue. Voters are going to see that it would ban nearly all abortions in Missouri. An appeals court has actually recently rewritten that ballot language, I understand. Anti-abortion groups say because the vote on the constitutional amendment was so close that they expect a big turnout on this because, there was only 1.5, 1.6% difference in the vote.
Yeah, we are also expecting a high turnout, right? What we do know is that folks are tired of the games by politicians here in Missouri, right? Folks want to be able to get the health care that they need. And we know that voters in every single county in the state voted for the Right to Reproductive Freedom Initiative, right? Amendment 3 that we saw in 2004. And we expect that those same voters and more will come out this year. And that we hear from our patients, they don't want politicians in their exam rooms, right? And this is going to really play this year in these elections. Of course, folks don't want politicians there. They want to just be able to get the care they need in partnership with their physicians, not with their state legislator.
What about the outside money that came in for that campaign? And I think both sides have talked about that. But, is this really an issue that money from outside the state of Missouri should be influencing?
I mean, part of what we know is that what happens in Missouri frequently happens in other parts of the country after they do it here, right? So folks, yes, they are interested in what's happening here in Missouri, and also Missourians are invested in it, right? So we have funders from around the state who are interested not only in, of course, the electoral work, but in making sure that access remains available. So while, of course, there is outside money, as in any issue that we see these days politically, we know that it's Missourians first and foremost who voted for it, who are volunteering for it. We had a historic number of volunteers who really worked to pass that amendment. So we know it's Missourians first and foremost who are invested in this.
A couple other issues I want to talk about, and one of those is the status of Medicaid reimbursements. How is that impacting services, even apart from abortion?
Yeah. So, there's been a lot in the news about that recently, right? Because there's been the federal cut of Medicaid reimbursement. We in Missouri have been dealing with this for years. So we have not been part of the Missouri reimbursement program for years. We've continued to provide the care. We make sure that folks can get the care that they need, especially the most marginalized communities, right? So we're talking about folks who are underinsured or uninsured who rely on these safety net services like Medicaid. We make sure those folks can come through our doors. We have been making sure we've been paying for that care. Let me be explicit to make sure that folks can get the care they need. And we keep doing that. So regardless of the shenanigans, including Medicaid cuts locally or nationally, we make sure first and foremost, folks can get the care they need so they can still come to us.
I know, I think it was before you were brought on in this capacity that there were a couple of facilities closed, one I think in the North County area and another possibly South City, if memory serves. Are there gaps around our community for just core healthcare, putting the abortion question aside?
Yeah, there are certainly gaps within our community. So those we restructured, right? So we made sure that we meet folks where they want the care, which is our Central West End location, easily accessible by public transit, and telehealth. So we are have been expanding our telemedicine availability. Folks want to do those appointments online. And what we do know about Missouri is that there is a severe crisis, right, in sexual and reproductive health and in maternal health care. So half of Missouri's counties are considered maternal care deserts. And that means that folks can't get the standard prenatal care. It's growing scarce, especially for those rural, low income and Black and brown communities. So we know, regardless of where our health centers are, the state of Missouri is in a healthcare crisis. We rank among the lowest in the country. And instead of cutting care, we need to be expanding access to all kinds of sexual and reproductive health care here.
Well, Margot, thank you so much for coming in this morning. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
That is Margot Riphagen. She is president and CEO of Planned Parenthood, joining us in studio this morning. And just so everyone knows, I know the abortion issue, people have very strong feelings about it. We have requested an interview with an anti-abortion group so that we can balance this story and so that you can hear their views on this as well. It's now 8:48.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Winterfest is back for the 10th year in Keener Plaza, now through January 11th. Enjoy Winterfest traditions, including ice skating, s'mores, and igloos underneath 100,000 twinkling lights in the shadow of the Gateway Arch. Grab a bite or drink from downtown favorites and enjoy a family-friendly New Year's Eve fireworks spectacular. Winterfest, hosted by Gateway Arch Park Foundation, presented by Bank of America and Worldwide Technology. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
I'm Megan Lynch. Thanks for joining me this morning here on KMOX. Conventions, events, and tourism are a huge economic driver for the St. Louis region. And we've invited back in, we love to have Kat Neville of Explore St. Louis in studio to talk about things. And especially, Kat, I wanted to talk about what to expect for 2026. I think we have to note that we're starting off with a bang with this U.S. National Figure Skating Championship, the Prevagen Championship right here in St. Louis.
Absolutely. It's incredible. I have tickets for Friday night. I'm super excited. I mean, this really is kind of the opening stage for the Olympics, which are going to be taking place next month And so all of the world's best athletes in the skating arena are here in St. Louis. Yesterday, the Today Show had like a 5-minute segment with Tara Lipinski live on the ice. And so the national spotlight is on St. Louis right now. It's a great way to kick off 2026. And to have this type of an event in January, which tends to be a slow month, it's a really great kind of economic injection for not just hotels downtown. It's really important to understand that these types of events, which it's the St. Louis Sports Commission that brought this to St. Louis, these type of events don't just happen at Enterprise Center and the hotels where people are staying. This radiates throughout the entire region in terms of, restaurants and bars, and people, when they come, for a weekend, they're going to go shopping, and, they're going to be driving around the region. So this is really an economic boon for everybody.
It's kind of fun because we're out at Centene Community Ice Center a lot. I was watching the preparations. Yes. It looks great out there right now. So I think, so it isn't just downtown. It reaches everywhere. I want to look at the outlook for not just events like this, but for things like meetings and conventions. I know that's kind of a bread and butter thing. And I know last year there was some concern that 2026 might be a little bit flat. What are we looking at right now?
So it is softer than 2025. That is true. But our sales team, our new chief sales officer, Brian, we have a new position on staff that is specifically looking at 12 months and in on a rolling basis. So we're aware that, and please keep in mind, conventions of the size that are held in America's Center are booked years in advance. So this is something that we saw coming. And so that's why we have this new position that Jill, who's on our team. And so she's looking at how to kind of fill gaps on a short-term basis. And we're hitting the ground running on getting folks, in the building 2027 and forward, those years are looking great. But I think it's also important to understand that our strategy, now that we see that 2026 is a softer year, it's not a horrible. I mean, we've got Vex Robotics coming up. We have a lot of really cool, the barbershop conventions coming in, Galaxy Cons coming in. We have a lot of, Zach Bryan is going to be here in March. There's a lot going on. But it is important to note that from a strategy standpoint, we're leaning into really pushing on leisure marketing to help fill whatever gaps might exist in terms of the economic impact in hotels, restaurants, shops, exactly what we're just talking about with the Prevagen U.S. Figure Skating Championships. And so we are very actively re-strategizing our leisure marketing, and we're reaching markets that we haven't reached before. We are in spring, we're launching a new campaign with the agency that we work with called Madden. And so there's that on the paid side, and on the earned media and owned channels. We are also really leaning into a broader strategy, not only in line with, making sure that we maximize the opportunity with some of the big anniversaries that are happening. So Route 66, America 250, FIFA, those are all huge game-changing opportunities for St. Louis to take advantage of. And if you don't take advantage of the opportunity, if you don't come to the table, then you're not there. So we want to make sure that we are firing on all cylinders on St. Louis's behalf. And so that is, regional, national outreach, but also international outreach. Now that we know that Lufthansa obviously added additional flights to and from St. Louis with Frankfurt. And now we have the British Airways flight direct from London that's going to be launching in April. And so there's a lot of opportunity that we are making sure that we're tapping into.
Didn't you just go to a trip to London to prep for all this?
I did. So that was kind of like our preliminary trip. We have another coming up in April, and we're doing this in partnership with the World Trade Center. And so what we are, which is based in St. Louis County. And so what we're doing is there is a delegation of about 30 business, cultural, kind of like thought leaders from the St. Louis region. We are going over on the inaugural flight from St. Louis to London, but we are working with our London-based PR team at Black Diamond to make sure that we're bringing media influencers, lots of great folks from London to St. Louis also on that flight. So there's going to be this kind of like wonderful kind of crossing of the pond, as it were, where folks are coming to St. Louis to help us tell that story, and we're going over to London to make sure that we are activating properly on behalf of St. Louis.
Well, thanks for coming in to give us some details of what's coming up in 2026. And
Absolutely.
We'll have to have you back soon.
I look forward to it.
All righty. That is Kat Neville. She is Vice President of Communications for Explore St. Louis.
Major Garrett is on the show today, and we'll discuss the events in Minnesota yesterday. Anna Schechter also covering that story, and she will be with us. And we will visit with Bess McCoy from St. Louis Mardi Gras. It is Mardi Gras season now. That and more coming up next on the Chris and Amy Show, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Money, sponsored